I think this works. I'm not 100% sure if this works. So I'm going to double check. People say stuff.
Testing, testing, one, two, three.
Okay, I can hear the feedback there, so I don't know if that's just because I'm like. Okay, anybody who's watching right now, apologies in advance because Ava is usually the one who runs this, and today I had to put it all together. And so, yay, I did it, but there might be some hiccups. We'll find out.
Well, I can hear you fine.
Beautiful. I'm checking to see whether or not I can be heard on the stream. Testing,
Oh,
testing.
yeah, I was testing on the stream.
Oh, you heard on the stream? Everything was good?
Yep, yep.
Wonderful. Okay, that's good, that's good. All right. So, as I've been telling other people here with everything too, because it's kind of an important thing, um, the cool way, I mean, it's a weird thing, but it's kind of cool that in order to get everything all set up, normally we do all of our audio and stuff through Discord, as you can kind of tell because you can see like our little Discord thing going on here. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Downtime, where we just kind of talk about whatever's going on right now. And this is what's going on right now, so that's what we're talking about. Um, because I am running it, I also have to capture my voice because for some reason Discord doesn't capture my voice, even though I'm in it, and it's super confusing. But okay, whatever. But because I also have kids and my kids like to be really, really loud sometimes, I'm gonna be muting my mic a lot. So there might be times today that I might have to be poked to unmute my mic. So be aware of that. So all of that being said, hello, hi, welcome everybody. This is Downtime, as I had mentioned previously. I am Tiff. With me today, I have Minerva and I have Vice. Say hello, girls.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Wonderful, wonderful. Um, and today we're just kind of like relaxing a little bit. Ava will be joining us in a bit, but she had an appointment that she had to get to, so she's running a little bit late. Totally fine. Um, but the big thing I was kind of wanting to work on today, as far as things go, was I was kind of wanting to get an idea of like my wrap up of For Hire because past couple of weeks have been a little bit weird. We had some technical difficulties with our last one, and then after technical difficulties, we were off last week, and then we are actually ending my For Hire arc so that Vice can start their For Hire arc, which is kind of the way that we want to go about doing it. It's a really cool, interesting way of. I don't know. I kind of think it's kind of cool anyway. Um, that we can kind of shift from one to the next to the next to the next. So that's where we're going for right now. Um, yeah, I'm kind of lost at the moment. Feel free to say something and give me a second to breathe.
Yeah, no problem. I am so nervous to go into DMing. I love DMing, but I this is my first time doing it. I mean, like it's not my first time on a stream GMing in any sense, but like for it to be a consecutive multiple uh in a row streams regarding one storyline is a little nerve-wracking. I've done a lot of one shots. That and I am just really jamming to the music that's playing in the foundry.
I mean, isn't that fun that we can kind of put it that way? And hopefully, I've got it all set up. Like, I spent a couple hours today trying to get things set up so that hopefully it doesn't burst out eardrums. Hopefully, people can hear the music. Hopefully, people can hear and like see and everything. But we're shifting to a new arc. You know, it's still the For Hire game, it's still the For Hire universe, but it is going to be a new arc in a new place with some new characters. So it'll be kind of fun to see kind of like where we go from there and what happens.
Yeah, and like especially uh like taking it to that new location, bringing in all new characters. It really gets to almost show the difference between like your standard uh very beginning starting level 1, level 2 versus uh having all of these new characters just meeting at level 3. especially with a lot of like different D&D games. I have been in some that have started level 1, I've been in some that have started level 3, I've even been in one that started at level 5. So just being able to see how the immediate dynamic of the party works with them being a little bit more powered than they would be at a very start is very interesting.
It is. It's kind of a fun way to look at things too. Um, through like the way that our clinic games work generally is everybody comes in and we start at level 1 because everybody has different experience with D&D. Some people, like most people honestly, come in with limited knowledge of how D&D works in the first place. And nothing wrong with that, but it does mean that it's a lot easier to start down at the early levels to kind of get your foothold into the game before you move forward. Now, everybody on this stream so far is a veteran. We've all played multiple games. We've all played at multiple levels. I know Min has at least a couple level 20s that she's gotten to. I have as well. Vice, have you ever hit level 20?
I have played in one shots as level 20, but I have never hit level 20 in a campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I've also never hit level 20 in a campaign. I've only ever gotten one character to level 20, to clarify, but yeah.
one is still one, though. It counts.
Yeah.
Um, but watching the progression from level 1 up to level 20 is kind of a really cool thing, really interesting. And when it gets to the way that our clinic games tend to run, we try to start everybody at level 1. And we try to start everybody at level 1 with other level 1s so that everyone's kind of like in that same bit. But those early levels tend to go by pretty quick. Level 1 is not very hard, really. It's just kind of like getting your foot in the door. Level 2 is not very hard. Game starts to pick up, I think, around level 3. That's when most people start getting the things that make their characters cool. But you want to make sure that you're comfortable and ready for that. So I'm excited to kind of jump in at level 3 and see where we're going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I can confirm the progression, and as far as the campaign goes, I've run a campaign before, and I was playing with mostly new players, so we did start at level 1, and we only stayed at level 1 for 2 sessions. After that, we went to level 2, and then stayed at level 2 for like probably about 4 sessions, maybe. And yeah, so those 2 levels, I can confirm they do go by pretty quickly.
That sounds pretty decent, honestly. It's like I've got a couple different ways that I tend to level people. I'm not big on like the XP. I'm not big on like I guess pseudo sort of milestone. Um, I, if anything, I kind of go more milestone than anything else. But I tend to be a little bit more structured than that. Even depending on where I'm at, I like to do kind of like 1 session at level 1, 2 sessions at level 2, 3 sessions at level 3, 4 sessions at level 4, and then generally 5 sessions at most every other level. But that depends entirely on like how long the levels run, etc., etc. The format for this game is even more simple than that. We are spending 1 month at every level, so you can look at 4 sessions at every level just moving forward, and then you know that we've got level up. Which reminds me, next week, Cricket, Laurel, and well, Lishva, you'll already be level 3 because you started off at level 3, but Cricket needs to level up to level 3 for next week, as does Laurel, which will be kind of fun to see. I'm trying to decide what I want to do, if I want to take her to her 3rd multi-class yet, or if I want to hold off on that and see if it comes up more naturally in the storyline.
Ooh, what will be the third multi-class?
Well, I'll either tell you or you'll find out. I'm not entirely sure yet. I've got to think about that.
Ah.
But really, anytime
I'm
you start getting into like multi-classing one multi-class is already kind of like maybe you're not going to be perfectly whatever, and then I'm throwing in 3 classes here. I think that's the max that anybody can really do. Although I did have at one time because I had to try it just to see what it was like. I have one NPC character that has 1 or 2 levels in every class.
Oh yeah.
Ooh,
Just as
wow.
I know, it's they,
Wow.
it's something.
I
Um,
tried to do that once, but the most I could get, I eventually settled for a character with like 5 or 6 classes.
I
Yeah, I
did
have
this
an
on a
NPC.
yeah. No, like I did this as an NPC just so I had a character that had 1 or 2 levels in every class just to do it. So it exists. I don't know if it should, but it does. Uh, I'll have to attempt playing it at a one shot at some point. But in order to do that, I had to be like level 16, 18, I forget, to get all of them. And I'm
I
definitely
will
not going to be able to compete with no normal level 18 characters.
I will so gladly run a one shot at level 16 or 18 or even 20 just so you can
Just so you can
have
see my amogolism. Like,
Yes.
what is this? How does this work? I don't know. I have like the good thing is I have every spell that are like level 1. I have every level 1 spell.
A whole bunch of cantrips.
Whole bunch of. I think I have every cantrip. I think I have every level 1 spell. But I don't think I have much more than that besides like
And
random.
and too many class features to take.
Yeah.
Too many class features to track.
I have all the class features. I mean, at least all of the level 1, level 2 class features. So why not? Let's see what happens when you are a.
Yeah, it's very difficult to keep track of. Like when I
Yeah.
played my 5 class character, it was an NPC. It was an enemy in the campaign I ran, and yeah, I think he had 5 classes. I think it was like fighter, warlock, paladin, sorcerer, and bard, maybe something like that, something crazy like that. And I for- and I was when I was doing the fight, I completely forgot somehow that he was an Echo Knight. So I completely forgot to even use his Echo. So it's like there were like at least a couple of features I forgot that he even had as a result of having too many classes to keep track of.
I mean, that sounds like something that's gonna probably happen when I've got. It's like, oh gosh, what do I want to do here as a ranger? Okay, now I'm a fighter. Okay, now I'm gonna pull up some monk and go on with that. It'll be exciting. It'll be great.
Gosh, yeah, when I come to like my NPC that I had with all the different classes, it was a paladin, cleric, fighter, artificer. Oh gosh, and then I think it was also a barbarian. And they were initially just supposed to be like, retired adventurer, just kind of like someone the party could go to for like a side quest. And then uh the party decided that they wanted to fight him, so I had to have him run away because I was like, I don't want to kill my party because they are at level 3 right now, and I didn't think that they would try to go all murder hobo on it.
See, that's your problem, is that you started thinking, oh no, they're gonna be responsible. No, no, no one's
Yeah,
gonna be
to be fair, it
responsible.
was it was my first time DMing.
Okay, I guess that's okay. All right,
My hopes were a little high.
let's see if I can
Yeah.
find my. No, that's a bard. It's like I'm just going through all my level 20 characters to see if I can find them right now. Like, do. That's one of the things I do like about being able to keep, like, all of these. Every character I've ever created in D&D Beyond. It's a nice thing. It's very nice. Do you
Yeah,
go?
I do love being able to like look back at my old characters and being like, "Aw, I miss playing you."
Do you
Yeah.
guys ever like you just kind of like create multiple copies of your character at different levels so that you can kind of think, oh, what are you going to be here? What are you going to do there? What's that going to be? Okay,
I don't think I've ever done
Yes.
that.
I think I
I've
found
done
my
that.
freak against nature here. All right, so let's see. Yes, so what I have here, and it is my character's name is NPC, so I feel like that's pretty well done here. It was a while back that I created them. 1 level in Ranger, 2 Artificer, 1 Barbarian, 1 Bard, 2 Cleric, 1 Druid, 2 Fighter, 2 Monk, 1 Paladin, 2 Rogue, 2 Sorcerer, 2 Warlock, 1 Wizard. I feel like there's probably new classes out here that I can shift a couple of those out for now, but I have to go back and check.
One of
Gosh,
these I'm
that's
just
so
gonna play
many.
a. One of these days I'm just gonna create a level 17 that is every class plus Blood Hunter.
Ooh, I could add a Blood Hunter in
True.
there. That's a thing. But yes, as a level 20 character, and this is level 20 because I did have a couple extra levels in some of these, I have up to 4th level spells. So, woo. But I don't actually have up to 4th level spells. I just have up to
I was
4th.
about to say, yeah, but to 4th level spell slots.
Yeah, it's like I don't have up to 4th level spells. I just have up to 4th level spell slots. So I get 2 of those, 3 level 3s.
Then you probably have like a
2 level
warlock spell
2s.
slot.
I have, I think, no, I've got 2 warlock spell slots. I got my packed slots at level 1, so I've got at least that going on. I've got every cantrip. I'm pretty sure I do have every cantrip, which is an interesting thing. But yeah, I've got a ton of level 1 spells. I gotta go see if I know them all. I'm gonna go check all that now. So, yep, my bard spells are set. Cleric spells I already know. Druid spells I already know. I got wizard spells. I'm gonna have to try it sometime just to see how terrible it is. It's gonna be awful. It's gonna be a terrible, terrible, terrible character, but it's gonna be fun. So that's the important part, right? All right.
Ooh, which also I guess kind of like brings me into what is your favorite like class slash subclass? Because all of the characters that I've seen from you have been multi-classes so far.
Not true. You have seen Zai, and she's a
Oh yeah,
straight
that's true.
druid.
That is true. I don't know why I always
Yeah,
thought
I've
that
seen
she
a bunch
was
of single class characters from you.
multi-class. I always thought that she was multi-class with fighter.
She feels like she could be, but no, she's straight druid. She is just what is it? The summoner. Help me, Min.
Uh, Wait. Oh, was that Marco? No, that was
No.
somebody else.
I don't think you've met Xylee, but what's the druid? What's the
No, I don't
summoner
think so.
druid? It's the crap.
Oh,
Is-
Shepherd.
druid?
There we go. Thank you.
Yeah. I was about to
So
say
yeah,
like I think it's Shepherd, but
it is
I
Shepherd.
don't know for sure.
But yeah, she's my shepherd druid. She summons a crap ton of owls all the time. We have reflavored them as geese. They are wreak havoc everywhere. It's fantastic. I love her. If she dies, then I bring in my feral moon druid. So be aware and be that'll be a thing.
I
I'm
love moon druids.
my feral moon druid is convinced that she's a dragon. So
Yeah.
yeah, I love her. She's the great, but she takes a lot of energy for me to play.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever really played a summoner character unless Necromancer counts.
I mean, they kind of count because you're like summoning the dead, you're summoning the undead. It's like, oh,
I mean,
kind of.
yeah, I mean, they don't really. I mean, it's not really a summon spell because it's not a thing like, oh, you keep concentration on something and the summon's up. It's just like you gradually build an army.
Do 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 do. Vice, I don't know. I can't change Discord right now for obvious reasons. I see that there are like a couple pop-ups. I don't know if Ava sent you stuff or not.
I have nothing.
Okay, just confirming. We've got time before we actually shift into the game. We're hoping that the game will start in about an hour, so anybody who is popping in wanting to actually see the game, you'll be able to see us at the start of a brand new one in about an hour, give or take, depending on how long our break goes. Right now, we're just chatting for the sake of chatting. Where do we want to go from here?
That is a great question. Um,
I mean, there was the question raised about like favorite class subclass.
oh, true. That was never answered.
That is also very true. I don't feel like I have played enough of everything at the point to like honestly have a definite favorite. I like to like I have I guess a favorite so far. I like my summoner druid. I've got a couple of them. But I'm also I haven't played enough of everything to know for sure.
Yeah, I'd I'd say mine. My official flavored class is cleric. Just because, the reason why I pick cleric is just because there are like a few spells in there that are really customizable, namely spiritual weapons, spirit guardians, and guardian of faith. So I really like the idea of customizing spells to and other features to fit the character. In fact, that's for that same reason artificer is really growing on me, and because that class as a whole just encourages customization because you don't really cast spells the same way that any other class does. You create like magical devices. In fact, as Tiff probably knows, there's one artificer I play who insists that he is not a spellcaster. That
Absolutely not. Not a spellcaster in any way, shape, or form.
even though he clearly casts spells, they're all magical devices.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's not a spell.
Gosh,
But
yeah.
yeah.
So, what about you, Vice? Do you have a favorite class subclass?
Oh man. So this is gonna sound a little bit silly because my favorite subclass is not part of my favorite class. So my
That
favorite
does sound a little
class.
silly already.
So I have a few favorite classes. I would say most of my characters are either warlocks or rogues. Uh I really enjoy playing both of those. Just the opportunity for a little bit of angst, very good, very fun. Um, but I would say, ooh, honestly, the Circle of Spores Druid is really, really cool.
Oh
And I
yes, that's.
really like that subclass. It is really fun.
Mm-hmm. That's the only druid subclass I've played. Can confirm it is fun.
It's just a druid party going on, I guess. Everyone's enjoying their druids.
But I will also say that I really like gunslinger fighters.
Really?
Yeah,
You know I've
I
you know I've
always I
you know
always end up
I've looked
making
at
my
that class, but
gunslingers like little like cowboys.
I've looked at that class before, but I guess I was actually considering that class at one point for that same artificer I just described at one point because he's also a fighter. But I was originally planning on multiclass him to gunslinger fighter because the whole point of this character is this inventor who specializes in firearms. However, I looked at the gunslinger class and was like, this is just really complicated and it seems a little underpowered. And then somebody else brought up the idea that, oh, why don't you just go Battlemaster instead? And I'm like, okay, I'll just go Battlemaster instead and use the DMG firearm. Whatever, I'm done there.
Yeah, so the main thing that I've found that makes gunslinger really fun for me is one, I'm not keeping track of ammunition. That is a lot. I already have it like it's one of those situations where, like you don't really have to say, "Oh, my spellcaster is preparing their spells." Like every long rest, it's just kind of understood that's what's happening. So I just make sure, like, oh, my character is crafting ammunition, and I'll take out a little bit of gold whenever I need to, but I don't track all of it.
I
Uh,
honestly, I do a lot of that. The micromanaging of certain things just doesn't appeal to me. I've got plenty of other
exactly.
things to
Yeah.
handle. It's like, I don't really want to micromanage going to the store all the time. Every so often, sure. If you want to go get a specific thing, fine. But, that's partly kind of what your, focus is supposed to be for. And if you have to go get certain things for spells, I just kind of assume that you probably went and bought some diamonds. If you've got the money for it and you know that you have the spell, I'm gonna be pretty open with the fact that, like, okay, spend the money, or just put money aside, saying like this is your spell material fund that you have spent. Like if you tell me that you spent 1,000 gold on various materials for spells, fantastic. You don't have to tell me what they are, but when you use one, make sure that you've noted it. Min knows that because they've got like
Yeah.
do you have like 26,000 in like components that you I'm not
Oh
entirely
yeah,
sure.
Oh
something like
man.
that.
It's
Something
something
ridiculous amount.
ridiculous.
So we're like, okay, you want to cast Simulacrum? Go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like another thing that I really like about Gunslinger is so you have like the grit points. I
Mm-hmm.
find them pretty similar to like key points or like sorcery points. Um, and anytime that you roll a natural 20 on a firearm attack or you deal like the final blow, you get one of those points back.
Mm-hmm.
And you can make different types of shots. You can make one that uh will hit multiple opponents in the same like in a line, or make one, or like make a specific shot that will like disarm the other character, so that character has to like use the movement and their action to interact with picking up their weapon again. uh there's just a lot of things that you can do that will really change what's going on in a fight, and also you still
Yeah.
get the extra attack. And with quick draw you get a proficiency bonus to your initiative.
Yeah, I
So
feel like yeah, there are definitely a lot of cool things there. Plus, there's that whole crafting aspect of the subclass. I think I haven't really looked
yeah.
at it too closely, but in fact, that was the other reason why I didn't go with the gunslinger subclass for my artifighter was the grit points, because I think some of the grit point features aren't they wisdom based? I think.
Um, so it honestly depends on which shot is made. Um, so it doesn't require any skill from you specifically. You would
Yeah, because I
still
always
roll
thought they
like
were.
normal. You would still roll like normal. Some of them will give you like a +1 or +2. Um, and then some of them, like the disarming shot, will cause the enemy to make a saving throw, like a strength saving throw. Uh,
Yeah, maybe those are
but
based off wisdom. I don't know.
the main thing that I think is something to kind of like, I guess, nerf the class a little bit is when you use those trick shots, when you use the grit points, it can affect your like misfire. So like if you roll a 1,
Mm-hmm.
or there's a specific way to like score it specifically depending on the weapon. Um but if you misfire, then like your weapon is damaged and you have to fix it.
Yeah. And I always flavor that way. Like whenever I make a nat one on a shot with like a pistol or something, I always think like, oh, the gun jams. Now I have to like quickly fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's probably the reason why I didn't go with a gunslinger. Was I looked at something? It was something about the class that was wisdom based, and I thought this character does not have high wisdom, so that's not going to work.
I'm like looking through trying to find what would be wisdom based in
I thought
this.
it was the grit points, but maybe I'm mistaken. I was looking at something on it.
I know for the grit points, your saving throws for trick shots have a DC of. Oh, maybe it's a
Yeah, I think it's maybe
DC
the
of your
DC that's
wisdom?
wisdom based.
Yeah, it's the DC that's wisdom based.
Yeah, yeah, that's what kind of turned me off of it for that specific character.
I've got
But
a.
hey, if I want to make a straight fighter that invests in that, I probably will make a gunslinger. It
Oh,
was just
yeah.
that with that specific character, I wanted to invest in intelligence above all else because artificer. So
Fair.
Which totally makes sense. I'm like
yeah,
messing around with things while you guys are talking, and I appreciate that you guys are letting me do that because it's like, okay, mucking around with things,
yeah,
messing around with things, trying to make things a little bit better, a little bit cleaner. I know that this interface right here with us just kind of like hanging out, it's like, it works. It's not like the most exciting thing in the world, but considering that we don't have much, well, I guess that's a question. Does anybody have anything that they kind of want to show off and they can do like a little, I guess, stream for it or whatever? That's totally fine if you do want to.
um,
Honestly, I would like to, if you are willing to share the character sheet for this fighter artificer, I
oh,
would love to see it.
I mean, I could share my screen. I'm not sure how to actually put it up on the stream, but I can at least show it in Discord.
Well, if you show it in Discord, that'll pop it up on the stream because I'll
Oh,
be able to
okay,
like join the
yeah.
stream and
Let me
pop it in that way.
uh let me figure out how to do that. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Let's see. Share my screen. Where was it? There it is. Okay. Hold on. Let me actually pull up the sheet first. That might help. Let's see. Which of all my many characters? Come on, where are you? Ah, there you are. Okay, so here's my screen. Oh, there it is. All right, so this is my Artifighter's character sheet. He's currently level 11. As you can see, I mean, it's not really too special. I got a lot of stuff here. I decided to when building him, I mean, he's a variant human, for instance. So I gave him one expert. So I gave him like a bunch of things. I gave him a feat right off the bat. I think I gave him sharpshooter right off the bat. I also gave him the skill expert feat, so he has expertise in sleight of hand. I figured that would be appropriate for somebody who uses a lot of firearms. I mean, as far as firearms go, he doesn't use anything too fancy, especially since when you use stuff from the Dungeon Master Guide, you're kind of limited to a pistol and a musket if you're using like Renaissance era stuff, which usually I do. but but he does at least have like two different pistols. One is a +2, and one is actually like a two-bird sling, which is that item that's that when you make a shot, you can actually cause the ammunition to ricochet and then hit a second target within 10 feet of the first. So he has like, so I took one look at that item and I thought, what if this was a gun? So he has that as well. So, and is also specifically, as far as artificer classes go, is also a battlesmith. So that means he's got, which is interesting because when I originally built him, I think he was originally an artillerist instead because I thought, oh, this looks gun related. But what I found with Artillerist is that it's very magic focused and just doesn't really synergize well with Fighter at all. Whereas Battlesmith totally does, especially since it has a feature like A, it has extra attack, and B, it also allows you to use intelligence for any attacks that you make with magic weapons. So that's that.
Very,
Man, look
very
at that
nice.
dexterity.
I need to see your sleight of hand. Because
Oh
that's like
yeah,
a big.
a plus
Yeah.
18.
Yeah.
Make a little
Yeah.
for
The
us
only
real
reason
quick.
You always get so.
why he has that. Yeah, the reason why he has that is not only does he have expertise, he also has gloves of thievery, which gives a +5 bonus to sleight of hand. So
Well, he always gets so upset in the festivals when he tries to cheat.
because
because for
he
some
has
reason you
to-
roll like crap. It's like you always get caught cheating. I'm like, how?
Exactly. I mean, the last festival was the exception to that. He somehow got a gold ticket for one of those. But
I would love to see a quick roll of that sleight of hand.
okay, let
Do
me
it.
click it.
Oh, nice!
That was a
Natural
nice
20.
20 there.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, he's
almost as if the
crafted like a
character sheet is
magic item too.
apologizing.
Yeah, he's crafted like a bunch of magic items too. As you can tell, one of them was a Tome of Clear Thought. That's why he has a 22 intelligence. So,
Yeah,
so
both
yeah.
the dexterity score and the intelligence score is crazy to me.
Yeah, that's because it uses the same rules of character generation that we do. And it rolled, he rolled decently for stats. I think he started with 18 dexterity, 18 intelligence, and 14 charisma. So everything else was a 12, obviously. But
We do like having heroes actually be heroes. So
yeah.
that's why we tend to do like our 2d6 plus 6 for our general starting rolls. And then if you still hate it, then you can point by. That's fine. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, but Percy has actually been a very fun character to play for me. It's kind of weird because I usually play a lot of goths, a lot of death related characters, and Percy is anything but a goth. So, but for some reason he's still very fun to play. Like just his attitude is so fun to work with.
Well, it's that being different Every so
Yeah.
often, it's so good to just kind of step out of your comfort zone and be like, I don't usually do this, and so I'm just going to have fun with it because why not?
I know
I also got
definitely a big reason why I've been enjoying playing cricket because cricket is so unlike any of the other characters that I've played.
yeah. Yeah, I've done that, and actually, one other favorite class that I forgot to mention before is actually Bard. That's probably my other favorite class to play, and
I could
the
see
reason
that
why
you'd really like Bard for sure.
yeah, the only reason why I say that is because I am actually a singer-songwriter in real life. So there's actually one other campaign I'm playing in right now where I'm playing like a bard cleric, and I actually do sing a lot of my incantations. So that's always really fun.
That sounds really fun. I always love when bards like take it the extra little level and they start singing or uh
Hmm.
doing whatever it is that their bard does. I know some bards will use calligraphy or dance.
And sometimes it's cool because I can incorporate the actual songs that I wrote into some of the campaign stuff. Like I know Tiff has definitely seen that with Eve, for instance.
Almost certainly. I really enjoy your, what was it, Jingle Bells?
Oh yeah,
I
that
loved your rewrite of Jingle Bells. That
yeah,
was great.
thanks. No, it wasn't Jingle Bells. It was Santa Claus is Coming to Town.
Oh, that's right. I mean, it was one of those Christmas songs, but it
Yeah,
was like,
it was like, you better watch out, you better not cry, you better not pout, I'm telling you why. Khan the Immaculate waits in his lair.
Oh man.
He watches you with 10 eyes, each one of them on stalks. He knows if you'll be bad or good, which is why he never talks. Oh, you better watch out, or he'll shoot a ray to charm you, destroy you, or ruin your day. Khan the Immaculate waits in his lair.
Wow. Like
yeah.
the song really good. The imagery, I hate that.
Yeah, it's about older, that's why.
I don't know. Condom the Immaculate was fantastic. You know, he went out and, he went and got friends for you. He, like, had them all hanging out in his lair so that you could come say hi. I'm not entirely sure what your problem with him was. I mean, he was just a all in all good guy, right?
I even had him set up as the whole father of Christmas, like in
I
that
like
one
that, yeah.
festival memory, where I had him appear in the utopian world of that Ling Ho was part of.
The Mist special. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. No, that was always a fun thing. Um, Now I've got to like thinking back because like we've been playing that campaign for a few years. We're trying to get it. I'm trying. Well, sorry, I'm trying to get it to end. It's like it's
Hmm.
needing to end. Um, but talking about little things that were like going back in time, like aw, Christmas, aw.
Hmm.
We talked about like just like all those little scenes there, like the unicorn. Oh, that was so sweet. No, no, it wasn't. Um, it's like I'm trying to think. Willow. I always get her name mixed up because I think of Ava. Willow Crown? Yeah? Is that right? That's right, right?
Oh, yeah, Willow Crown. Do you mean that little treant or?
The little treant, yes, the little
Yeah,
treant who became the first treant paladin, I want to say. Was she a paladin? Was she a cleric?
courtesy of the Tree Pope.
Courtesy of the tree pope. The tree pope has come and spread the word, and now all of the trees in that area are just like, go helm, yeah, yeah. Like, okay, cool.
Yeah, it was fun to see. And also just to see Eve's character arc just fleshed out was really cool too. Like she had this backstory where uh that basically involved a vampire lord, and it involved her father fighting said vampire lord, and vampire lord being after her mother, and as a result of that, vampire lord casting modified memory on her mother to make her forget about this other guy, and think and basically plan out that she belongs to him. So therefore, my character ended up growing up with only her mother because her father died in the fight against the vampire, and thinking that her she basically grew up thinking that she was the daughter of a vampire when in reality she actually wasn't, even though everybody around her thought she was. So it was about just kind of discovering that, hey, it was really cool because she kind of slowly got to discover who her father actually was, and that was really cool.
And he only pooped on a few people.
Yeah, because he was a raven. Because the father actually was this Shatterkai ranger who was specializing in fighting undead. So naturally, Eve, I think Eve at one point ran into an encounter with the Raven Queen, and the Raven Queen sent her father to him in Raven form. So that's what happened.
Trying to
I
think
love
back to,
that.
yeah, it's like trying to think back about all the little things that happened. Like, oh yeah, that happened. Oh yeah, and that. Oh right, and that happened. But it's just, I need to go back and like do the whole. I did that a while back where I had put everything together in kind of a like a long recap as people were kind of like wanting to join and then quitting and then wanting to join and then quitting. Like, okay, fine. Well, I'm just gonna put everything together in a whole big thing so people can read about it. Fantastic.
Yeah.
I wish that I still had the opportunity to do more with Cal,
Oh
um,
yeah.
because I have things that I want to do with them, but just where Cal is in their development right now, they don't really want to have anything to do with that, which, okay, that's cool, but you're running out of time. So it's like, okay, well, is what it is.
Yeah, the joys of joining a campaign late.
That it is. I feel like they've at least done a pretty good job of getting their character to where they want to be part of the family, which is good
Hmm.
because that didn't feel ridiculously rushed. It felt normal, it felt natural, it still felt like it was a good pace for that. So,
Yeah. And sometimes introducing a character late can be fun, and sometimes it could also be a challenge as a DM with incorporating that character into the world. Like, probably a good example of this that I think I did a good job of was when I ran the campaign that I did. There was somebody who joined the campaign a bit late, and her character, uh, of course, Tiff could probably guess who that player is just from my description of what happens next. But her character was I forget what race she originally was, but I think she wanted at one point to become a Warforged, and I was like, okay, Warforged currently don't exist in my campaign. So I was like, how is this even going to work? At first, my answer was a hard no, but then I thought, wait a minute. What if Warforged actually exist in my world? What would that look like? There's actually this one dwarven city over here that actually has some mines that and is caught up with this weird conspiracy. What if that conspiracy involved Warforged? What if that mine was actually a Warforged factory? So what I did basically was I decided to turn that mine into a Warforged factory and had the Warforged thing go through, and uh, that character got kidnapped, got taken into the mine, and the party had to basically kind of go rescue her from this Warforged factory. Of course, by the time at that time it was too late, and she was already a Warforged. But hey, it actually turned out to be a really fun dungeon and a really fun introduction of a race into the world. So that I thought was pretty cool.
uh, the Warforged. Yeah, yeah, okay, cool. Like I've seen some pretty good Warforged out there. As I'm playing a campaign right now with a Warforged who basically is a take on gosh, what, Macintosh app. He's like has so many computerized names with everything. It's like his creator was Nikola Tesla, his name is Mac. And it's like, oh man, he's always finding interesting ways to try to derail everything and do things all keep like chaotic and such. It's a lot of fun to play with him, but sometimes I just have to be like, dude, stop. Let us play.
Gosh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
where like I always kind of, especially with like my friends, I don't always have the time for like a full campaign. So I join in as like a guest character slash like co DM for certain situations. So sometimes I will be the villain, or sometimes I am just some guy who comes in and then gets engaged to a party member and then married.
Just randomly, oh, okay, yeah, guess we're married now. Cool, cool.
Yep, yeah, yeah.
And then sometimes I'm just there to play a menagerie of NPCs in one session. I'll be every little encounter that you have of some weird kid making uh animal balloons or a thief in the night or whatever it may be.
Which honestly is still a lot of fun. I think that's a fantastic way to include people who have sporadic availability. It's like, oh, we want to play, you have availability to play. You can't commit to a full season, you can't commit to a full campaign, but you can jump in when you can and you can play this and you can play that. And it's always fun to kind of like see the cameos and give people an opportunity to jump in and just play a little bit.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
and like
indeed.
it's something that I greatly appreciate because I do not always have the best mental health to be in a campaign every day of the week.
Which is also a fair thing because the more you commit to something, there are other things in life that still are going to require your attention, you know?
Yeah.
And you don't want to be so focused on, oh, I have to do this game. It's like, it's great. I love games. I am fortunate that I get to work with games. It's super fun for that too. But I also have to make sure that everybody that I work with recognizes real life comes first. And so many people who have like come through and like played with me and worked with me and everything who's kind of like, I have to stop. I'm like, okay, you need to stop. Real life comes first. When you are back in a place where you're wanting to play again, come back. We definitely want to see you again. This isn't us like pushing you away in any way, shape, or form, but you're right. Real life comes first. It's more important.
And that's always been like super implemented at my table. Like if I can if I have more than one person missing, I won't run the game at all. But if it's one person missing, then I will have something that is inconsequential to the plot happen. So let's say, oh, Tiff couldn't make it to session this week. Tiff's character is sleeping in at the inn. They are just so exhausted. They're getting in some extra rest. I'll even give you like a little like boon of temporary hit points or something while the rest of the party realizes that either all of their stuff got stolen and they have to find out who in the tavern did it, or they are locked out of their rooms because they left their keys inside or something along those lines. So they have their own little like mini adventure that doesn't affect the plot. So I have everybody there for the plot.
I think that's a like fantastic way to kind of go about doing things. It's like on the server that I run, it is primarily a play by post server, and so people interact when they can. And one of the things that I have to make sure people are aware of up front when they join us is, life goes on. Sometimes you might miss something, but you can go back and read it. Sometimes something might happen that you wanted to be part of, but other people were available and it just moved on without you. And it's kind of like that bittersweet feeling of like, ugh, I missed out on that. But the flip side of it is when you wait for everybody at all times, there's no progression. Everything gets
Exactly.
stuck
Yeah.
forever. It's like I would much prefer moving on and having people catch up than being stuck in the same place for months on end because no one's around to actually move things forward.
That especially
Exactly.
gets confusing with things like combat because
Yeah.
it's like in a combat in the play by post format. So you go through everybody's turns, and then somebody's turn can come up, and what if that person's not available? Maybe they and you skip their turn, and then they come back maybe an hour later in the middle of somebody else's turn, and then you're like, okay, you could take your turn after this other person finishes, or this other player hasn't been back for at least 2 hours, and they have like three skip turns.
Well, and at that point, it becomes a question of like, is it worthwhile to pause and wait at that point? Or
Yeah.
is it something that is the combat nearly over and then you can just reconcile it and move things forward? Because realistically, when it comes to this game, it's kind of like what you were saying, Vice. It's like there are so many little things that can happen that you don't need everybody there for. If it's something that is very important for everybody to be there for, it's good to make sure they are there for it, or that they are prepared for it, or that they're caught up on it. Especially people who might want to actually do something in those situations. But there are so many other little things that could happen. Do you really have to be around to squash these tree frogs?
Yeah.
Probably not. But you do want to be around for the bigger thing around the corner. So,
Yeah, and you also, of
Exactly.
course, want to be, you also, of course, want to be present for things that primarily involve your character, obviously.
Oh yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You don't, well, and that's a big thing too, is that you want to make sure that you have agency, that you are able uh, to the best of whatever, to the best of what the dice decide, etc., etc., you have control of your character. You don't want to have that taken away from you unless it absolutely has to for some reason. And even then, I'm going to give you that the pro tip here, people. If you're going to take agency away from a person, make sure they are okay with it before you do it. Explain to them what it is, explain to them why, make sure they know before you do anything what's going on, why, and how they can get that back.
Oh yeah. I have definitely had my fair share of like a DM that did not care. Um, we had talked about what my character's arc was going to look like, what it was supposed to look like, and then they let real world things influence in-game things, and then it wasn't even my character's story anymore. Um, it became
Yeah.
very much it became very much what I didn't want for my character. Uh, and it was getting to the point where I was like, I'm tired of playing this character. Can we just have this character die and I'll roll up a new one? Or like, can we have them leave and I'll roll up a new one?
Yeah, I had a similar kind of thing happen where it's like I had a character that was like kind of pushed into a certain direction. Like, oh, this isn't what she would have done. This isn't what I wanted her to do. Um, I'm not allowed to leave until I. Oh, okay, cool. So it did kind of like take the. It stung a bit, I guess. It made it feel not great. And when you're playing a game, you want to make sure that the game stays fun.
Yeah, and like, if you're taking away, like, especially when it comes to like a character's backstory and like their growth, the character's growth, their arc, etc. Like, you can't just change that because it doesn't fit your story. Like, you can talk about that before the game actually starts and say, hey, uh, my game is going to be telling the story of like growth and recovery and healing. So maybe your extreme vengeance to villain arc that you have planned for this character might not be the best fit in this world. Like, that's
And
a
that's
conversation prior.
well, and that's an important thing to talk about too, because those are the conversations you do need to have, because there is I think Ava and I talked about this a few weeks ago, but there's no wrong way to play a game, but you have to be aware of what everybody else at your table is wanting and what everybody else at your table is doing. And if your character does not fit in, or if your concept for a character does not fit in with what the world wants, with what the people that you're playing with wants, it's not going to be a good time for everybody. Take that character somewhere else.
Exactly. Also, your audio got a little bit loud.
I am noticing that, and I'm not entirely sure because I'm not changing anything. Maybe move my. If that's a little bit better that way, am I?
Yes.
All right. I just moved. Well, now it's like it's popping up in the red every so often, like, but it's in the green, 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 and then like randomly in the red. So I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing, but cool. Sorry for bursting out eardrums, people. When that happens, it's not intentional. It's me trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, it wasn't like absurd. It was just Tiff's either really close to the microphone right now, or
Well,
the audio just.
and that's a thing too, is that like I know that I'm not a very loud individual in the first place, and so even when I am eating my microphone, I call it eating my microphone because it's basically what it looks like. Sometimes people are like, I still can't hear you, and I'm like, is this better? And then I'm like, oh, yep, that's much better. But I'm moving things back to where I feel like it should be more comfortable, but I can't tell. And honestly, I'm one of those people, I love and hate Zoom calls because I cannot watch, I can't put my picture on a Zoom call. I cannot be on video. I just can't. Because I will spend the entire time watching myself talk and changing my expressions to make sure that I am, because I know that that's probably an autistic thing that I do, but it's like, oh, this is not the way I'm expecting to look. I'm wanting to show something else. I'm changing my facial expression, and I'm more focused on the way I'm looking and the way I'm sounding than what I'm saying. So I have to turn off my video all the time. Like, okay, if I turn off my video, then I can't pay attention to it. But now I've got this audio thing that's got my green and my yellow and my red, so now I'm paying attention to that, and I'm like, okay, so if I'm watching it, but it peaks to the red so quickly and so randomly that I don't know what I could. It was just in the red and it's there again, but I don't know what I'm doing because it's back to green, and I haven't really done anything different. So I think it just might be audio being weird right now.
No, I get that, especially with what you're saying about having the camera on. Like, it's part where I'm like, am I just like really full of myself and like, am I really vain?
Right? It's
Or
like, am I?
is it just audio?
That's exactly where it's like, am I really vain that I'm looking at myself and trying to better, or am I like? But I feel like it's just me trying. Like, the way I feel about it anyway is that I'm trying to present myself the way that I want to be presented. And if I don't see myself, I don't worry about it because I can't see myself. But if I can see myself, I'll make those changes. And then I'll be focused on making those changes until I'm presenting myself in the way that I want to be presented. And it's a lot of effort. It's a lot of thought processing, a lot of things. Like, I'm just going to turn off the camera, simplify everything.
Oh yeah, like when I'm in my streams with the other streaming group, we always have our cameras on, and the entire time, if you like look at my like panel during the stream, I am just like staring at myself and like preening and like, we fix my hair real quick. Like, are my
Yep.
glasses too far down my nose? Like, am I smiling enough? Like, oh wait, gotta like look at the other people. All right, back to myself.
All of those little things, like, oh yeah, I have to pay attention to this and that, but yeah.
Blink. Remember to
Oh yeah.
blink, 'cause I will just
I stare. Yes, it's like I forget to blink every so often too. It's like I'm just staring. I'm looking at things. Like, okay, this is not. If I turn my face this way, it's a little bit better. Should I change my camera angle? It's like I don't like doing that, and so I just don't do it. It's like I know I will get caught up in it. Yeah, and when I need to be on camera, I am on camera. I was on camera like a couple weeks ago, just randomly, and it's like, ha ha ha, but I had to do it for like a couple seconds. And then I've got like a few, I've done a couple video series where I had to be on camera in order to do like some presentations and such. But then I go and just try to prepare beforehand, and I don't look at myself on the camera. I turn the camera on, and then I ignore it. Because, again, I turn my monitor off so I don't have to see it. What can I do to not actually see myself? Because otherwise it just gets a little bit chaotic.
Oh yeah. I entirely get that. And especially with like making like eye contact and everything. Like,
Eye
I know a
contact
lot
with the
of
camera's the worst because I'm looking at myself and now I have to look over at the camera. Where is the camera? And I'm like,
Yep.
exactly. And like, for me with my own like neurodivergencies, like I grew up, eye contact is so important. You look everybody in the eye when you talk to them. So instead of it being like, oh, I don't really like know how to make eye contact, or eye contact is uncomfortable, for me it is the opposite of, I cannot not look at your eyes while you are talking. I am going to
same.
stare into your soul the
Oh,
entire
yeah.
time.
Oh my gosh. See, don't stare into my soul the entire time because that's what makes it so uncomfortable.
No, how to not
It's like, please don't stare into my soul because that's what's going to make me look away. Most of the time when I am talking, I am still trying to like find the words that I'm looking for. And I find that if I'm looking at a person, I get stuck in their eyes and I get stuck in what they're thinking and I can't think about what I'm thinking. And so I have to look away in order to find the words that I'm looking for. It's a really weird way of kind of phrasing it, but that's the easiest way I can say. If I go to the store, I feel so bad, but it's like I can't just randomly look people in the eye. I go up and I'll like pay for my stuff without even looking at the cashier. I'll be nice enough. I'll talk. I'll say things, but I can't look up. It's just going to distract me. It's going to keep me from being able to do things, and then I'll be stuck there, and I'm not going to know how to move to the next bit. So I just move along.
No, I get that for sure. Because for me, it's once I make that like eye contact, like I feel like, oh no, I'm stuck in this zone.
Basically,
And I
yes. It's like
can't leave it now.
yes. It's like I have looked you at the eyes. You have seen me. I am a real person. Oh crap, you're a real person too. Now I have to actually make small talk.
Now I'm existential, and now we have to have a 30-minute long conversation.
Now I have to talk to you, and I have to make sure that things are okay. And it's like, it's hard because that small talk bit is also not easy. That small talk bit is hard. It's like, oh, cool. I have to listen to a person I don't know talk about things that I'm not really aware of. I need to find a kernel of interest in here somewhere without coming off too weird myself, because if I just jump right into D&D, it's either going to go really well or really badly. Little things like that. Things that I guess neurotypicals don't typically have to think about.
No, I get it. The small talk is the worst part for me. Like I don't want to sit here and say like, "Oh, how is the weather doing? How about your kids?" Yeah,
Basically,
that's great. Like
it's like, I know what's expected.
hate that.
I will do it when I need to because it's the expected thing, and that's usually what happens when I get eye contact with somebody. It's like, oh, crap, now I have to go find something that I remember about you and ask about it to show that I care. But most of the time when I'm talking to somebody, I just kind of want to get something, I want to say something, I want to get something done, I want to get information. I tend to, oh, look who arrived. Hello, Ava.
Oh, party people.
Hello, party people. I guess that's perfect timing or whatnot. I just noticed that we're about 2 minutes after, so we should probably shift to break. And we'll see you guys in about 10 to 15 minutes for break. Or I guess we'll see about 10 to 15 minutes after break to start our first session of Vice's run of For Hire. So, yeah, see you soon. We did it. We're there. It's live.
Oh wow, we're live.
It is!
Hello.
We are live.
You gave me so much for many, many weeks about countdowns, Tiff.
I
And the
know.
turns have tabled.
The turns have tabled, but that's also partially because now I am the one that has to, like, check my mic and check this and check everything else out. I was like, because my mic is separate from everybody else's mic. Am I blowing everybody's ears off? Can you pick up my fan? Can you pick up my husband behind me? I don't know. Welcome, everybody.
Welcome back.
Welcome, welcome. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and start us off now. Welcome, welcome to For Hire. I am Vice. Many of you who have watched previously know that I played cricket in the other game, the Curse of Tear Soul game. But now I am going to be DMing for Hire for this next month. I am joined with some pretty amazing players. I'm going to go ahead and have everybody introduce themselves. We will go ahead and start off with Minerva.
Yeah, so I'm Minerva, and I am going to be playing Ravi the Doomspeaker, a cleric for our game today. I've been with history for a little while. I'm also in the Curse of Tear Soul as well, where I'm playing Lishba there, but so playing a similar character but kind of different. You'll see.
All right, and then we'll go ahead and go over to Ava.
Hello, I'm Avalon, she, her, or they, them, and I am in this game playing Miranda Hawthorne. She also uses she, her pronouns. Of course, I am typically the DM of the Curse of Tearsol game, and I was previously Daisy in a different For Hire game.
All right, thank you, and then we will head over to the last episode today.
Hello, hello. I am Tiff. You might know me from DMing the previous For Hire game or playing Laurel in the Curse of Tear Soul. For this game, I will be playing Ayana, who has she, her pronouns. Fun little air genasi.
All right, and that is everybody introduced, so we will go ahead and get into it. So, as you can see, we are in a new area, part of the world. So welcome travelers to Packwitch. It is a small town, but it is brimming with life. Children are running past you in the streets. You can see chickens and goats, cows and pigs playing in fields or being herded by dogs. Farmers are relaxing on their front porches with iced drinks, or miners are walking past getting ready to wash their clothes and hang them up to dry. Further down the road, you can see a market with loads of tents and music. It's a bit bustling as people are walking around buying groceries or selling goods. Along with the market, you can also see the town's inn and a multi-deity chapel. As you all enter, where do you go?
Causing us to think really fast right now.
Perhaps we should describe our characters before we hop into things?
Sure thing.
Lest we continue without a visual cue on what we look like. Oh, and of course I suggested that before I realized what Miranda even looks like. I like to live dangerously.
Oh, of course.
So yeah, Miranda is a human woman, mid-20s-ish, but it's a little difficult to tell. Very nice clothes. Her hair is immaculately braided into a sort of crown braid around the top of her head. And she carries herself with a very practiced grace and confidence. She has pale skin and blonde hair, and one of her most striking features is probably her rather heavy red leather coat that she wears over her typical very nice clothes. She also has on her hip an odd-looking holster of sorts, with what looks like a small saucer and a cup in it. Um, but yeah, she doesn't seem to carry any weapon or spellcasting implement of any kind, and she has an unshakable air of calm confidence and poise. Poise is the word I wanted. But yeah,
I love that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do a little intro for each of the characters in that sense. So, Miranda, as you are walking in, do you believe that you are all traveling together as a group, or are you all meeting here today?
I think meeting here would probably be a good idea.
All right,
I think so, yeah.
sounds good. Then in that case, ooh, that makes it more fun because I had both planned. Uh, so, Miranda, as you are walking into this town, the dirt road underneath your feet, can I have you make a dexterity save for me real quick?
oh yeah, absolutely. I'm just gonna hop in that. Okay. I forgot to do my D20 tournament, so I will use my sheet. Where's it? Dexterity. Saving throw. Normal. First roll of the night is a middling 11.
You know, that does just beat the save, though. As you
Woo!
are walking through, you feel a little bump on your hip. A little kid runs past, chasing what seems to be a small rodent through the street, turning back, just, sorry, miss, as the kid continues running and sneaks between some of the houses.
She just smiles very pleasantly and watches it happen as she just very calmly continues walking toward the. That's a well in the center?
That is like a gazebo,
A
almost.
gazebo. Okay.
Yeah.
If it's okay, she'll head towards that. Just sort of surveying the town as she goes, just observing her surroundings.
Sure thing. As you are moving through, just kind of making your way down the dirt path, you see houses to either side, a few wagons, some with produce, some with hay. Uh, you see a few benches around for just a nice, relaxed sit down area. And as you get closer to that town square area, you see a lot more tents, people walking by with like kebabs and different forms of like these weird colorful drinks, some with bags of different types of produce or animal products like eggs or milk.
Cool.
All right.
Um, is there anyone on the gazebo?
As it stands right now, there are some people that are standing around the gazebo, but nobody is currently inside of it.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just get up in the gazebo and just lean on one of the railings and just observe the town, the goings on.
All right, and with that, we're going to go ahead and jump into the next character. This next character will go ahead and be Ravi. How are you
All right.
entering the town? Describe your character.
All right, so Ravi is an elf who is a rather pale elf, deathly pale for that matter. Kind of has this gloomy demeanor about her. This long gray hair. Wears a lot of like black brownish clothes and stuff, including this tattered black cloak that that kind of drags behind her and stuff, and she also carries a shield that has the symbol of a raven's head on it. And another thing that you might notice about her, she looks very serious and just really no nonsense. Walks very kind of almost look like she's drifting throughout with every step. And there's also a notable scent of incense that lingers around her as she walks.
Ooh. All right. Are you looking for anything in particular in the town? Just kind of getting a look about?
She's just wanting to look about.
Right, can I go ahead and get a perception check?
All right. Oops, that was the wrong button. Perception.
All
That's
right.
15.
Nice. Yeah, so as you are walking through the town, just kind of taking a look at everything. You, like I said, you see the farmers that are sitting on their front porches. You see some of the miners walking past. And as you are walking through, behind, oh gosh, how do I ping again?
I think you just hold down the mouse.
Yes. So in this area right behind this wagon, you see a small collection of kids who are just huddled together and staring at you. One of the kids is a younger girl who is kind of like a little bit more conservative to herself. Her arms are kind of like pulled into her chest, as you can tell. A kid who looks a little bit older than her, likely her older brother, is telling some form of story. Not necessarily about you, but perceived about you to her. Almost in a sense to try to like scare his younger sibling.
Yeah, so Ravi is actually going to walk a little bit closer to them, kind of look at them as she passes. You know what? She's just going to kind of let their kids have their fun. She's just going to ignore them and walk right past them.
As you walk past, you can hear some of the kids go like, "Whoa, look at her shield. She's a little scary. I think she's cool." As you walk past. And then with that 15 perception check, I will also say that as you're walking past a little bit closer in that line towards the town square, that you do notice on this house, there are a few people standing on their front porch. Some of them are grumbling, but you can't exactly make out what they're saying, but they're not looking at you. They're looking a bit behind the house past the fields.
Ravi will just kind of look out in that direction as she heads into this town square area and just kind of takes a look around there. Notices the gazebo is pretty empty save for one person right now and decides she's also going to just kind of people watch in there.
All right. So you also go ahead and take a seat in that gazebo. Is there anything else?
You are very interesting.
Well, so are you.
I am, aren't I? Thank you.
You
My name is
certainly are
Miranda.
You certainly are very colorful, I will say that.
Oh, you should meet my sister. She's far more colorful than I.
Enjoying yourself in around these parts?
Always. There's so many things to see, and I don't know. I delight in the travel. I'm afraid I didn't catch your name. Mine is Miranda. Miranda Hawthorne.
And I am Ravi, the Doom Speaker. And she holds out a hand to shake.
Miranda will take it. Her hands are very soft and like well kept. You know, like she has very immaculately kept nails, and her skin is very, very nice. But her grip is rather firm. You do recognize a strength to her in the handshake.
And Ravi's hand, notably, is cold. Like, you feel like you're shaking hands with a corpse.
Miranda doesn't visibly react to that. But she does tilt her head a little when you say Doom Speaker. Curious. What is a Doom Speaker, if you don't mind me asking? Or is it simply a surname?
Sorts. That is all I will say for now.
A prophet. Fascinating. Well, what brings you to Packwitch? I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, Deanna.
Oh, no, you're fine. I was just going to have a quick pause so we could introduce our third character.
Yes, please.
All right, that brings us to the lovely, lovely Ayana. Introduce yourself, describe your character.
So, Ayana is an Air Genasi, and probably her most remarkable feature is her hair, which basically kind of looks like a cloud. More than just kind of looking like a cloud, it seems to kind of like almost move with her. If she's about to do something, you can kind of see it in her hair that kind of shifts around to do things as well. It almost seems to come alive. It swirls, it shifts. It seems to kind of mimic her actions sometimes, kind of curling up in anticipation, or almost kind of like settling back down into almost like, I don't know, like a predatory stillness if she's about to kind of like jump at something. She's got a pretty striking appearance that it's hard for her to kind of blend into a crowd. But she tries to seem to use this to her advantage as she wears just kind of form-fitting attire in shades of kind of like rust kind of colors, kind of like a rust shade type of red almost. And just kind of wanting to make herself be seen, which is an interesting type of thing as she wanders into the room.
As you enter into this town, the dirt path below your feet, what is it that you are looking to do? Are you looking to just take a look around? Are you trying to find anything in particular? Or just kind of making your way through?
For the most part, she is looking around to see what there is to see, what looks like it might be shiny, what looks like it might be valuable, what looks like it might be fun. Just little things that could spark her interest and maybe cause a further spark of her own.
All right, can I go ahead and get a perception check? Or investigation, I'll let you choose. That is a very good check with a 20. In that case, as you are walking through, you are taking a little look around, and you can definitely tell that for such a small town, it is quite lively. You can see all the kids running around in their like little play groups. You look over to the right and you can see some dogs herding, some sheep over in the field. You can see different farmers taking a break. You see a few little lovebirds off to the side of some of the buildings, having their little meet cute moments. But nothing particularly shiny in this more residential area before getting to the market. Once you get to the market, though, you do see a lot of different stalls, some with very shiny stones, some with some jewelry, definitely some interesting cups at one of the tents that serve drinks, and as well as some weapons over to the left side.
What sort of weapons look like might be over to that left side over there?
You're seeing a small array of weapons. They are not, they're not rare, like rare, but you see some that are definitely standing out to you. You see a dagger, you see a really nice looking bow. You also see a pair of bracers.
All of these things do kind of spark her interest a little bit, and she wanders over and just kind of like runs her finger along the blade of the dagger and just smile on her. Like, she has a pretty standard smile like on her face at all times. She tends to have that little bubbly bit going on. She kind of looks around. Is there anybody guarding these weapons?
As you look around, you do see that there is a slightly older woman who is manning the stand. She does seem like she is talking with another customer, but has turned to you to give you like a "I'll be with you in just one moment" type of gesture.
It is starting very early, yes. So she's... So I think it's kind of like might be one of those things that For Hire just does, as just has to do some crime. As she smiles politely at the old woman, just goes, "Oh no, it's totally fine. Just like take your time. I'm totally fine on my own. Thanks. Please take care of your other customer. It's great." And as the old woman turns around, she's just going to take that dagger and kind of like slip it in her pocket. 14.
Alright, give me just a moment to go ahead and roll for this. Sorry, my app is taking a little while to load up.
I can't wait to see what happens.
Right? It's going to be fantastic. It'll be great.
So fun little fact about that, it's actually held in one of the mines nearby.
Oh, there we go.
Could you tell I was a little inspired?
It's great. I love it. It's a bunch of holes in the
Alright.
ground. Why shouldn't they use it for incarceration?
Ooh, so that was a 10 in response to your 14. So as far as this shopkeep is aware, you've gotten away with it.
Fantastic. So what she'll do is she'll just kind of like look over other things in interest. And she took the dagger. And yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I mean, I guess I did technically. Is this happening in view of the gazebo?
If you were to roll a perception check, I could let you know if you could see it.
Yeah, sure. Nice.
You both
nice.
definitely see this.
We did say we were actively people watching, and this is a puff of cotton candy that's engaging in crime. So,
Very true, yes.
okay. She does actively stand out. It is a big thing. It's like, I'm not entirely sure how sneaky she is with how well she stands out in a crowd. So it's a fun thing there.
Well, I will definitely say that it is a perk that you're stealing this in broad daylight as opposed to nighttime. But you'll find out why in just a moment.
what does that mean?
Exciting.
Is that an intrigue?
That is insight to what was stolen.
So,
Oh.
can I just quietly and calmly make my way out of the gazebo and sort of like tail Ayana from a moderate distance back, just to see what she does with the stolen dagger?
Sure. You are more than welcome to go ahead and roll a stealth check against Ayana's perception. Or passive perception.
Alright, there's a 17 on that stealth. Wait, does it change shirt?
Definitely wanted to do like a roll on that. 19. It's like she's definitely a little bit aware of who might be around her when she is doing her sticky fingering. So, yeah, 19 on her perception.
I'm trying to double check. Okay, never mind. I wasn't sure if the chain shirt conferred disadvantage or not. It does not. So yeah, you do see Miranda, as I've described, just sort of calmly walking behind you. Every once in a while she'll look around or fiddle with something to appear nonchalant, but she'll be very
Ayana will just kind of like turn and start walking backwards, a big grin on her face. Hi! So, like, how are you? What's up? You see anything fun around here? I'm looking for something fun to do. Have you got something cool?
I mean, if there are sticky fingers, there are plenty of things simply out in the open, I suppose. You'd know lots of them.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but please keep talking.
Can I attempt to swipe the dagger from the place that Ayana put it? Like from the pocket that she secreted it away to?
You can certainly try.
So like as we're talking, Miranda reaches out with one hand, sticks her hand out like to shake her hand. Just, my name is Miranda Hawthorne.
That's a really nice name. Hi, Miranda. I'm Ayana. Nice to meet you. She actively doesn't shake your hand. She's just kind of like waving in regards to like, oh, nice to see you. Fantastic. She's using her hands to talk. You can tell that she's, well, you can probably tell with a very small amount of insight, given that you saw her steal a thing in the first place. She uses this as a distraction a lot. So she's just trying to distract you by like, oh, I'm not gonna touch you, whatever. I'm just moving my hands around, so you can totally just kind of pay attention to the movement here. It's totally fine. Her hair is also kind of following the motions of her hands. So
it's sort of like bobbing and moving around, like.
Yeah, it's almost like a water gymnastic, like she was an ocean or something. You just kind of see the clouds forming and kind of like shifting around, you know.
I have a question that's a little more meta. If she gets angry, is there lightning in her cloud hair?
Oh, absolutely. It's like her hair gets a little bit darker. It does. It's like her hair gets darker. It's got like the gray tinge to it. And if she starts to like really get upset, you'll see like little sparks of lightning in her hair. It'll be fun.
Imagining her with this like adorable little grumpy face and like lightning and thunder in her hair. Just. All right, so I guess it's a question of whether or not Miranda would be able to reach for the pocket without it, like, that handshake was important.
And she, being a rogue who has, I mean, her hands are definitely covered with gloves. They're not sticky. But, you know, knowing that these sticky-fingered people exist, she's fully aware that, you know, Miranda's hands might be sticky, and she wouldn't want to have any of that on her.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Okay. Then, yeah, just continue with the conversation, I guess. So, what brings you to Packwitch?
All sorts of things. I mean, I was looking around, and, you know, I came from the forest kind of outside at first. There wasn't a lot there, so I saw that this, like, little town was here. It's so cute, don't you think? Isn't this, like, the cutest town? I think it's the cutest town I've ever seen. What do you think? Oh, is that your friend over there? And she's, like, pointing back over to where Ravi is.
Yeah, she's still at the gazebo. She's just been kind of watching the two.
Absolutely. She is a friend that I've just made today.
Hello, friend! And she'll, like, wave, like, super crazy over, like, big arm movements.
Ravi sighs and just walks over.
This is Ayana. Ayana, this is Ravi.
Hi, Ravi. It's so nice to meet you. It's fantastic. I'm glad that you met each other today. Is this kind of like...
Just a few minutes ago, to be precise.
Oh, well, that's super exciting. Good to meet you both. What brings you guys here?
I was just coming to visit this town. I came from another town that is nearby. I came from Applebanea, and that was a very interesting place. I decided to come here through my usual travels. I usually like to travel around through various towns and see what's around.
Well, I suppose a few months ago, I'm originally from Arian, but beyond that, I came here for the bioluminescent algae. I've heard that it is.
Get out. You're from Arian? I've been there before. It was, like, super fun. They had, like, all of those, like, ships and everything out there, and, like, all the different taverns. Super cool people there, too.
It is a very interesting city, to be sure.
It does have a very nice atmosphere, I would give it that.
Knowing what I actually know about Arian, that's a really funny thing to say. Yes, my family is from there. One of the originals, supposedly, but that depends on who you believe.
One of the...
Oh my gosh, well, who do you believe?
I suppose. She thinks for a moment. I don't know that it actually matters. The stories are valuable in themselves, whether or not they're literally true. And reputation is so valuable.
Uh-huh. So, like, what kind of reputation do you have if they're so valuable? I mean, it's definitely something that if you're bragging about it, it's got to be something cool to, like, share with other people and let us know, right?
It's obvious you were some sort of noble.
She just quietly just smiles broadly, like her smile broadens, And she doesn't really respond. There's just this like mischievous look in her eye. And after a few seconds, she just, come. I will buy us all a meal, and perhaps we can talk more about our respective backgrounds and such.
Oh my gosh, that's so sweet of you. Thank you. Where should we go eat?
Great question. Is there a tavern or an inn or something?
Yeah,
little coffee shop. I don't know.
So looking around you, you can see that there are a few tents around that are serving like almost like food trucks, but not trucks, food wagons, and a few different drink places as well. But right here is also an inn and tavern.
Well, there's that tavern over there. That might be an interesting place to go.
Indeed.
Certainly like a good place to start looking for sure. So let's get over there. And she'll just kind of like make her way over there, waving to people as they go, absolutely bringing all the attention onto herself as she's smiling and waving.
Oh yeah, as y'all make your way over, I will definitely say that you are turning a few heads. Not necessarily in a bad way, but just in a sense of like, people are looking like, huh, those are some interesting travelers in town.
Awesome. It is pretty great how there's like me in solid red, Robbie in solid black, and then Ayana in solid blue. Like
Yeah.
we've accidentally completely color coded ourselves.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm wearing rust. Rust is not blue.
We are wearing gray and brown.
I'm gonna be really honest with you here. I forgot what you guys' portraits actually looked like. I just
Dun dun dun. No,
blue hair and skin.
I've got the blue hair, I've got the blue skin, and I did originally have blue armor going on, but then I was thinking it was way too much like Cesario, so I was like, no, so I shifted it.
I'm blue da ba dee da ba die.
Alright, so yeah, we'll go in. I'll buy a round of drinks and some food for everyone.
Sure thing. We'll go ahead and say that that costs about 10 silver.
Of course, I will take the gold.
So Ayana will pick up her drink and just kind of raise it high in the air. A toast? Because, like, you guys are now my new best friends. You are my favorite people in this city. Thank you so much for hanging out with me.
Because I purchased you dinner.
Yes, but it's still true.
And Robbie just raises what appears at first to be like a little glass of water, but it's actually vodka that she raises.
Ah, smart. Yeah.
Miranda raises her teacup, which is currently full of an alcohol of some kind. I immediately forgot what all of them are called for some reason.
I have in my head
The alcohol of alcohol.
I feel like Miranda would drink brandy.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
think
That's why I
brandy-
was thinking brandy.
I think brandy is what I was looking for. Yes. Canon now. What initially looks like maybe like a little leaf pattern on closer inspection is very like stylized, repeating like anchor pattern on the ceramic. And she raises her teacup, and of course she's got the pinky out, and she's does the toast with you. To new friendships.
New friendship.
Totally, like I said, you guys are my best friends, and I love you guys. You are amazing. And she'll take her drink, and she will just kind of toss it back behind her, not actually drinking it.
So,
We'll just drink it
Ayana,
as if it were hers, as if it were water.
Ayana, where did you put the dagger that you stole?
The dagger that she swiped, she would have put kind of like on her thigh.
So is it like in a holster, or just like in a bag, or like in like a band?
I would imagine that she would put it in kind of like a holster of some sort because, you know, she's kind of replacing one of the daggers that she usually uses daggers, and she was just replacing one of the ones that she threw and lost. So she just put it back where it came from, apparently.
Heard. So I will say now that you are inside, sitting down at either the table or the bar where there's a little bit of dark cover. The dagger's glowing.
Oh, cool.
It's not
Look
super
at
bright,
this.
It's just like a dim light that extends to 5 feet.
Miranda.
Very cool.
Ravi, because we both saw her swipe it.
Inevitably, indubitably, that is no ordinary dagger, it seems.
I'm not entirely sure like what you're talking about here, but like I like to have things that are a little bit extraordinary, a little bit cool. I like going for fun things. This one's pretty fun, don't you think?
Fun in the sense that it is easy to spot.
I mean, like right now it's easy to spot, but I could pretty easily hide it. Yeah, check this out. And she'll like take the dagger and she'll just put it in her satchel. Ta-da!
Well, there we go. Now you have a glowing satchel.
Does it make the satchel glow or does it get covered up?
What material is the satchel made out of? Is it leather or cloth?
I don't know. It's like the typical backpack that comes with whatever. I've been busy. I have been so busy trying to get this all running. You are so rude. Oh my gosh, you're not my friend anymore. No, I know, right? Like, totally. Let me look at my inventory. Hold on. Okay, so I'm gonna guess it's probably leather, because most of her other things are leather, too. She has a backpack, she has a pouch. It makes sense that both of those would be leather.
Yeah, in the case that it's leather, then you would not be able to see the glow through. But if it were cloth, you would definitely see the glow. So every time that you open up your satchel, it'll have like a soft glow, like in a video game when you open up a chest.
I can imagine, like, she opens it up and it's like, ah!
It does look like Pulp Fiction thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so I just sent you a link to the item on D&D Beyond because I homebrewed it. It is a dagger of light. It is a dagger that was made with special pathwitch metals that was mined and has been traced with veins of topaz.
Pretty.
I thought so too. It's like super cute, right? It goes really well with me.
It certainly does seem to suit you.
Did you happen to note how much it was worth when you took it?
Nah, not at all. That wasn't really something I was paying attention to.
Fair enough. And you do score some points for honesty. So,
I'm always honest. I'm not entirely sure what you're talking about.
of course. So, I wonder. Can I just try to listen to the bar for a bit, see if I can pick up any like rumors, any conversations, snippets of things.
Yeah, of course. I will let you choose between perception or investigation. If you're trying to find a specific rumor, then I would say investigation. But if you're just listening to what is the local talk of the town,
Just trying to get
I
a
would
feel
say
if there's
perception.
anything. Just get a feel if there's anything sticking out to the people that live here.
And in that
it'll be a
case-
perception check.
Yes.
13 is not very good.
13. I will say, you can't hear much conversation over Ayana being very excited and talking about her dagger. But leaning back a little bit, you do hear a table behind you. There are a few miners and a older farmer man just kind of grumbling and talking about how, those Ficure lab people have been here for months, saying they're studying the algae, but I haven't seen them out once. And you hear a few more grumbles of like, they're so pale, you can tell that they never spend any time outside like the rest of us. They're probably too afraid of getting their shoes wet.
Can can I see like what they're drinking? Like, is it just steins of beer, or do they have like a bottle of something on the table?
Yeah. So you take a little peek back. You can see the farmer is drinking a very large pint of ale, while the miners are more so focused on some of the more heavy liquors. It seems that they have a tequila adjacent on their table.
Okay. Yeah, I'll wave down someone or go to the bar, whatever's the appropriate venue, and have more of both sent to the table. Just cause
Sure
seems
thing.
like they're having a tough time of things and are a bit annoyed.
The pint of ale will cost you 1 silver, and the bottle of tequila will cost you 10.
Okay.
They're drinking some top shelf.
No worries. All right, great. I have marked it down.
All right. A few moments pass when the barmaid comes over to that table and delivers the drinks. Did you ask her to tell you that the drink was from you, or to keep it more uh,
I
anonymous?
don't I didn't give any instruction either way, so I guess it's just up to her what she would do.
Yeah.
It was more just giving some appreciation. Um, yeah.
In that case, when she drops off the beverages, she kind of like goes, "Oh, it's a gift from the lady over there," and all of the miners and the farmers at the table kind of like lean over. The farmer tips his hat to you. The miners lift up their glasses and cheer.
Um, I raise the teacup towards them and smile, and motion for them to join us if they want to.
They kind of look amongst each other. The miners decide to stay seated, but the farmer slowly gets up, holding his back, his knees, as he slowly straightens himself out and walks on over to y'all. He is a halfling man, probably about maybe 3.5 feet in height. Uh, has a decent amount of wrinkles, a gnarly farmer's tan. He's wearing a tank top shirt right now. Uh,
Cool.
has quite the hefty beard and wearing his little straw hat. Comes over
Good
and
for
just
him.
goes, "Thank you for the drink. I'm sure the others
was my
appreciate it
pleasure.
also."
It was my pleasure. I'm terribly sorry. It did have something of an ulterior motive. I overheard a brief mention of those researchers. I'd be curious to know more. We just came to town, so I don't know anything about them.
He kind of grumbles at this and goes, "Ugh." They came here about maybe about 2 months ago. Not 2 weeks. That would be if they could leave in 2 weeks. That would be perfect. But yeah, they showed up about 2 months ago. Said that they were studying the algae and that they wouldn't be in our hair for too long. But not any of us really have seen them go in or come out of the lab out on the lake. The water wheel hasn't turned once, which is, you'd think that they would try to get it going so they could actually get results on the algae, pushing some of that algae into the little inlet there, but doesn't seem to cross their mind much. So we don't know if they're waiting for the winter solstice or they might be doing something a little bit more nefarious.
What happens on the winter solstice?
Oh, it's just a little celebration. During the winter solstice, all of the algae, because it's got the glowy, I don't know the scientific term for it, but it starts to light up nice and bright, and all of us like to head down to the coast by the shipyard, and we have a little party. People like to bring by extra drinks. We sing some songs, splash around in the water a little bit. be merry until the sun
Splendid.
comes up.
That sounds delightful. I'm terribly sorry. I just realized we didn't introduce ourselves. My name is Miranda, and she'll gesture towards the other two if they want to introduce themselves as well.
Hi, I'm Ayana. Nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you. And how about you, tall, dark, and a little scary?
That giggle's in character.
Are you muted, Min?
Oh, yeah, I was just laughing, saying you're calling the halfling tall.
Oh, you are halfling, that's right.
To be fair, you might be tall compared to him, who is also a halfling.
And by the way, I am Ravi. It is perhaps nice to meet you as well.
I'm using the logic that you're sitting on bar stools and probably faced away from him so he can't see your legs. He's just assuming you're like an elf.
I just assumed he was being ironic, like when you call a big guy tiny.
Yeah. All right. Well, nice to meet you, ladies. My name is Hamish. I run the farm down by the entrance of the town. So.
That is wonderful to know. Has anything changed in the town since these researchers have shown up?
You know, it's not a necessarily big change, but we have noticed that the land around their laboratory, it seems like the plants are either fully dead or fully bloomed, and there's no in between. And, you know, I run a farm. I know that's not how things work. Is everything that is growing there should be in season.
That does seem rather unusual. You'd think with an establishment like that, their plants would be in various stages of life.
Curious.
Yeah, it just seems a little unnatural.
What was that building for before they moved in?
It used to be a library. It held a lot of different scrolls and information. That was back before we switched over to farming. We used to have some scholars here, but
Really?
that was a long time ago. Our schools kind of shrunk down significantly, and we preferred the slower, softer way of life.
That is generally the vibe that I'm getting from this town.
It does seem like the town carries it very well.
I totally have to say, soft is so much better than hard. I mean, like, I like it when my hair gets nice and soft because it's super fluffy. That, like, here, do you want to be able to touch it?
Sure. He kind of like reaches up and just kind of
Isn't it nice?
just kind of pats it a little bit, and he's like, "Huh."
His hand
Is
sinks
softer than
into
I-
it like the
Whoosh.
into the like hedge. His hand just
Yeah.
goes into it like that.
He kind of just like watches as his hand sinks into your hair and just goes, "Huh." I'm pulling my hand out. Your hair is very nice. I'm just afraid that I'm just gonna like tap your scalp, and I can see how.
I mean, yeah, that would be a little bit weird. I'm not gonna lie. It'd be kind of weird. I will, yeah. But don't worry about it. It's totally cool. I just want to let you know, like, just how soft things are. Like, I'm just totally get that soft life vibe that you're going for because I'm there with you. I like things soft.
Usually
Yeah.
I'm more the type to prefer hard things, but I can appreciate some of the soft things once in a while. For example, I would prefer the things I am sitting on to be soft.
I suppose
Well,
I'll
I
take the
can-
middle ground here and insist that they are not mutually exclusive.
Well, we do
And
have some
she-
soft drinks and some hard liquor, so have a little bit of that duality here.
There's the spirit.
So, is there anything I can help you ladies out with today? Are you here for jobs? Are you just passing through?
I am Honestly, I'm just following my curiosity.
As
I'm always looking for like a really good payday. So do you have any like where would we find good jobs around here? Where would we look?
Oh yeah, well, we have a few different bounty boards up. They all mostly post the same jobs, but you can find them in a few different areas. Um, there are some over by one of the botany shops right across the way from the tavern. There's also another one that is uh, down closer towards the entrance of the town. But you can find them there. I know that there are a few different places that are definitely looking for some jobs. Some of them are actually surrounded around the Fire Labs, which, granted, I would say do your best to not be sucked into whatever it is that they're doing. I've heard that their jobs are quite dangerous, but I can also.
I mean, does that mean that they're like good paying though?
I mean, no one here has really been interested in doing work with them, specifically because the jobs are being dangerous. So I would assume that they are paying well.
I would suggest that you actually take a look at the board to see if that is indeed the case.
You are.
You are so right. That's definitely what we should go do. Thank you so much. That was so helpful.
Of course. There are also a few other jobs up there. I know my good friend Clinair is looking for some people to try out her potions. There's, I think, there was another farmer who was talking about some of their missing livestock, so you might want to check that out also, if you feel like helping, that is. But I'll go ahead and let you ladies have a good rest of your night. I guess if you need anything else, if you have any other questions, you are more than welcome to join me and my friends over at our table.
I
That
appreciate the
sounds good.
invitation. Have a
And welcome
wonderful
to
night.
Packwitch.
Enjoy your drinks.
Yes, thank you again.
Of
Welcome to
course.
Packwitch. Make yourselves at home.
Thank you so much.
And he gives you all a nod and walks back to his table. You can see as he sits back down, the miners that he was sitting with are all kind of like, "Oh, what did they say? Like, are they here doing something specific? Like, are they just traveling through?" You could tell that he was not joking about the soft, slow way of life.
Yeah, we're all up in Hobbiton, just hanging out. Um, awesome. So,
Well-
after, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, Ravi is just going to kind of slowly sip at her vodka once more, finishing it in just a couple of long sips, and places the cup down and just says, "Well, are you ready to go out and have a look around? Perhaps at that job board that Diana suggested."
Sure. I must say, I'm very intrigued at the potions one. Some experimental elixirs and the like. That could be a fun evening.
Of course, you never know what those potions may do. They may incapacitate you completely. They may turn your hair purple.
Oh my gosh, my hair would look so cute purple.
That was my sentiment exactly.
Or they can give you the ability to breathe fire, or they can just kill you.
I'm not so down on that whole like just killing you thing, but breathing fire, that would be pretty awesome. I mean, can you imagine fire coming out of a cloud like this? Just whoa.
I love this.
All right. So we'll finish our meal and such, and then I guess we're hitting the job board, yeah?
Yep.
All right. As y'all head on over to the bounty board, I'll go ahead and have y'all go to the one that's right across from the
Of course.
herbalist's place. Trying to also make sure that it is within screen on Twitch. Nope, went the wrong way there. There we go. So, alright, so you all are sitting in front of the bounty board, and I will go ahead and read off the journal that I have of the different bounties. So the first one is going to be the potion trials. You see a poster up that is very much handwritten. The handwriting is a little sloppy. The paper is stained.
Vice, you're gonna want to move us to that map too.
What's this? A new map
Ah.
of sorts.
And now moving things around. There we go.
Creatures in the night. Are there chupacabras in Packwitch?
There might be. Sorry, I'm just
Beautiful.
waiting for it to show up on the stream. I don't know if I need to bring it up, down, left, or right.
I'm making it bigger, so you'll just want to shrink it a little bit.
From those researchers.
Yes, it seems that one in the middle is like it. Something about producing a hollow head. Now, does that mean just any head, or does that mean the head of something specific?
Well, no, the full phrase is the stamen of a hollowhead iris. It's the center bit of a flower. The hollowhead iris.
Oh my gosh, it's 100 gold, guys. Check it out. We could totally go do that for 100 gold. Easy.
Question is, where do we find this flower?
I suppose.
I'm sure they'll tell us. Yeah. You just have to, like, figure out that little things. The little information's easy enough to do.
I am sure there must be a twist if they want 100 gold just for a flower, and especially if they can tell us about this flower. Why don't they just do it themselves? Curious.
I'm sure. I mean, you're right. There's obviously a reason why they can't do it, but that's why we're here. You know, maybe they don't have a cool dagger like I do, because I've got this amazing dagger. It could totally cut out a flower. Easy. While she is talking, she is going to kind of like reach for the one that's written in Thieves' Can't and put it in her pocket.
I don't know. What can't.
I don't know what you're talking about. Their thieves can't do anything.
Which one actually is that? That looks like a random recipe for muffins. I don't know what all that is about.
It's a really good recipe. It's a really, really good recipe for muffins. I just wanted to try it out later.
What a bizarre thing to put on a bounty board. What else was I going to say? Oh, I suppose the researchers probably aren't retrieving this themselves because they don't leave the tower or the library. Is it a tower? I guess I assumed it was a tower with no information at all.
It is a laboratory since it was remade from an old library. It is definitely like this very large, ornate building. You can tell like by the shape that the actual like library part is very circular, and there's like this like entryway that is pretty straight. But it's just this very ornate building that looks very run down.
Cool.
Well, we can perhaps head there and check it out, see what they mean, and find out more about this flower.
I think it's definitely worth a try.
I mean, it's definitely worth about like 100 gold, and we could probably get them to like, if no one's gotten them one for that yet, we could probably get it for like 150.
Usually talk them up. It's true. Negotiations are a very appreciated art, I find. DM,
Yes.
do I possibly recall what a hollowhead iris is? Like, do I know anything about that from, noble funded education?
I will have you make a nature check.
Of course. Nature. I am not proficient in that. I rolled a 4.
All
Okay.
right. You know it is a flower, and you know it's pretty rare.
Might I know anything about it? Let me try. I'm not proficient with it either. My modifier's even. Actually, it's a slightly better than that by much. Nope, I don't know anything.
It's like, I have to. I just have to as well because it's just a rolling time.
Yeah, Ravi, you don't even know what a flower is.
Which is totally fair, actually.
That is true. I have a pretty good idea what a flower is.
Oh, yeah. So, Ayana, I will say you definitely know, like, this flower is very rare. You have likely heard of it in passing, but have not seen one yourself. You know that it is a little bit treacherous to get to the flower or obtain any part of it. Uh, and it can be used in quite a multitude of things. Sometimes it can be used as a component in an elixir. Uh, Sometimes it can be used simply as a garnish on fancy food dishes.
Is it safe to assume, because, like, the way that she's thinking at this moment is they only want the stamen, but there are other parts of the flower that could be used for other things, is what it sounds like?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, they are looking
So she could...
for the stamen. The petals can be used for different things. A lot of times, the petals are actually what is used to garnish for food. Um, and you know that the stem can be like either dried up and ground up, or uh, can be almost like steeped to create different, depending on how it is treated, components or like really high quality food or drink.
Fantastic. She keeps that information more or less to herself at this point because she only just met these girls. She doesn't know who they are. But, if she can sell the stamen, keep the rest of the flower for herself, sell it later, we'll see what happens. We'll see.
All right, and then I also am going to go ahead and go through each of the postings. I fit what I could text-wise on the actual paper, but we'll say that there's like a little asterisk with some extra information, either like...
Continued on page 2.
Yeah, continued on page 2, you have to flip it up. So
there's a QR code on the back that you have to scan.
Exactly. So you see on the potion trials from Clinair Perona, she is Packwitch's alchemist and is looking for brave and young adventurers far and wide to try my elusive array of potions. Potions like you've never seen. Some might make you tall, some might make you invisible, and some might make you smelly. I'm not entirely sure, which is why I need you. Take a satchel of my potions with you on your next adventure and document what it does. Return to me with the info, and I will send you off with the finest potions from the bunch, and maybe an item.
It does sound interesting.
The creatures... Oh, go ahead.
That is something that we could even potentially do during one of these other ones.
I like it! So, like, we're totally, like, I don't know, making things better by, like, doing two things at once. What's that phrase? Stomping on two birds with one stone. Yeah!
Stomping? Oh no, Cricket, stay away from Ayana.
Yeah, but she'd only stomp 2 birds, and Cricket is only 1 bird, so she's fine. She's safe.
As long as Cricket doesn't find a friend.
Next up, we will look at the creatures in the night. So, continued by Abigail Ludis. You see, I ask for your aid. Monsters have been stealing my goats and sheep from my pasture, and I cannot seem to catch them. Can you maybe figure out what's going on? Who or what is taking my livestock?
And that's the one that Robbie
That's not the... No, that's... Thieves' Cant's separate, I think.
Yeah, oh, never mind then.
Yeah, Thieves' Cant is the paper under the goat one.
Yeah, the Thieves' Cant is just a recipe for muffins that look delicious.
I still think it's really weird that it called for diamonds, but what do I know about muffins?
I mean, it's one of those things. I really thought that you would have had these kinds of muffins in, like, your upbringing. I mean, you're a noble, right? You've never had, like, diamond-crusted muffins or anything? Weird.
Well, we do have to prioritize things that are edible when we make food.
Indeed.
Diamond dust is totally edible.
Having diamonds would just break your teeth.
Well, I mean, like, I wouldn't. If you look at the recipe, it doesn't say to put the diamond itself in there. It's like you're supposed to grind it down to dust first.
Which also makes me question, if you were to put like diamond dust in your cloud hair, would it just make your cloud hair like super sparkly?
We're gonna find out.
Diamond dust is used as a component for some spells, so I suppose there is some truth to that.
Not spells we'll have access to anytime soon.
Yeah.
That's a whole other thing.
Revivify is a level 3 spell, but even that
That's
we won't get till
diamonds.
level 5.
Yeah, the one I was thinking of was Greater Restoration.
Oh,
yeah.
Um. All right. So are we hitting the potion and then hitting the other things after the potion?
Sounds like it.
I mean, it totally makes sense to go, like, get the potions first, because then we've got them, we can go do other things with them. You know, totally do it that way, and then I really think that we should go check out what's going on with this flower, because 100 gold, guys, and it could be like 100, I bet it's 150. We could easily get 150. If no one's else doing it, we could absolutely do that.
Indeed.
Depending on where we can find this flower, we might be able to take care of the goats as well.
Also true, maybe the goats are eating the flowers. Who knows?
I will also say that there is an extension on the Ficure Labs one as well.
Oh, please.
Yes, please.
So as you are looking at the Ficure Labs poster, you do see a fold-out underneath that says, "Are you an adventurer, or perchance a botanist? Lovely. We here at Ficure Labs require your assistance. We can't share much, but we do have some tests that we need to run, but we are lacking a component deemed necessary. We will pay you a hefty amount of 100 gold to obtain this component for us in the forests just southeast of Packwidge. We are in need of the stamen of a hollowhead iris. We look forward to doing business with you. P.S. The stamen is inside the flower bulb. It contains pollen for reproduction. P.P.S. I did not assume you needed that info. My assistant did."
We super did though.
I am so happy that the assistant gave us that information, because without it, I'd have never known.
Yeah, Abby would definitely not have known. She doesn't know what a flower. She doesn't know much about flowers at all.
Unfortunately, biology was never my strong suit, so that is helpful information.
I have only read about flowers in passing. I am not too familiar with them in reality.
All in due time.
Okay, so, like, first we go and check out the alchemist, get the potions, and then we go to the labs, talk them up from 100 gold, because obviously they need it, and so if they need it that badly, they're going to have to pay for it, and then we'll totally get a payday out of it. Then we'll go check out with the goats.
We could try to acquire multiple stamens.
Indeed.
Presumably they
Who
would
said
pay
we had to
100
just
gold
take one?
per stamen.
We would just give them a single stem, and then, like, if they wanted to buy more, we could have more. I mean, we'd have to find them first, but ideally they'd at least know. Like, they said it was in the southeast, so we could totally go to the southeast now and go find them. Would she know whether or not this was kind of a flower that is, like, a single one-off flower type of thing, or is it just rare to cultivate and find them in the first place?
I will say with that 17 that you know that it is a rare flower as is. They are 1 in a million. They require like the perfect like soil amount of sunlight per day.
So, would the likelihood of finding more than one in the same spot be higher because the atmosphere area for that spot is better, or would it still be like, yeah, no, you just got lucky with this 1 in a million anyhow?
It would definitely be a sense of luck.
Now,
There
wait a
have
minute.
been sightings of 2
Cool.
in the same place, but it is, like I said, very rare.
Now wait a minute. Do we even know what this flower looks like?
Is there like a drawing of that flower or whatever on the paper or what?
Not on the paper, but you do see the address to the lab on the bottom of the paper, which is kind of silly because it stands out like a sore thumb in this town. But you can
I
go
think-
to the laboratory to get more information.
I think
When
we
we're
should go to the
ready-
laboratory first. That way we know exactly what we are looking for. The last thing we want is to go get a flower and find out it's the wrong one.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to go get that information from them anyhow, and also to, like, up their gold reward. But there's no reason why we can't take the potions with us. We can do the potions first, take that over to the labs. Maybe the labs can, like, tell us what the potions do and save us the trip, and then we can get, like, other things from her, too. Um,
As well is we might be able to find a hunter or something here in Packwitch that is familiar with the forest that we could accompany into the forest that could help us sort of learn the lay of the land and such.
maybe they can totally help with, like, the goats, and they can do the goat thing, and we can split our profits with them and the whole goat thing. And then we don't tell them about the flower because we'll just, like, split that amongst ourselves, keep it secret. They don't need to know about it, right? And then we've got potions, and we can feed the potions to the hunter, see what it does to the hunter.
You are remarkably frivolous about other people.
I am totally, well, thank you. Actually, yeah, kind of am. I mean, as long as I'm not getting hurt, it's kind of fun, right?
Alright, I am switching us back to the map real quick. So I will also say at this time, it is getting a little bit closer to sunset. I'll say that you guys arrived around midday. You spent a decent amount of time in the tavern talking with the man. Just kind of getting...
Could you shrink the map a little bit? Sorry.
Now, one thing to note is that for the goats, they did say that they wanted to accompany them for a night. Night is approaching pretty quickly.
Okay, so here's my thoughts. We go, I mean, like, we all kind of agreed to go do the potions first, right? Because it should be just like a simple thing that we pick them up, we say, yeah, we'll totally do it, and then we'll go to the other thing, right? So we go grab that first, and on the way there, you're right, night's approaching quickly. Do you think that we could totally get that done in this time? Or do you think that's going to be something that we're going to have to, like, wait?
For the flower, it might be better to wait until the following day to do.
Try.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Okay. Fair, fair, fair. So we'll go get the potions. We'll go check out the goat thing. Did we want to get a hunter for that? Or do we just want to go see what we can do on our own first before we possibly have to split things another way?
Perhaps the person with the goats could be somebody who knows the woods. We can certainly ask them about it.
That's a good point.
Okay, fine. Let's go do that then. Sure. Fine. Yeah, totally cool. Okay, so let's go. We're talking too much. Let's go get the potions.
Potions.
So, on the bright side, you guys are right in front of the, like, herbalist and alchemist shop. So you can just pop right on in there. Talk to Miss Clinier.
Beautiful.
As you all enter, you hear the chime of the door, and this small halfling woman, wearing a blue dress with her brown hair up into like a little, like, super tight ponytail, kind of like whips her head around the corner and just, oh, I have visitors. Hello, my name is Clinier. I am the alchemist here. I also do a little bit of herbology. So, are you guys looking for plants, specific potions? Are you here about the bounty?
Oh my gosh, hello! It's so cool to see you! And she'll, like, walk over and give her, like, a huge hug and kind of, like, pat her down a little bit and see if she's got anything cool on her.
The only thing that she has on her are scissors in her hand.
She's very careful around the scissors. But she still kind of gives that whole, like, oh my gosh, it's so cool. Yeah, we're here to help you with that bounty. You know, you said that you needed help with that, and that seems like a really cool thing. So we're here to help you with that.
Something about potions, as I understand.
Yes, yes it is. Are you each taking a satchel, or is it just going to be one satchel for all of you?
Oh, we're each going to take one. Totally.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. She, like, rubs her hands together really fast, closes the scissors, and kind of, like, puts them into her ponytail to, like, stay put. and she like runs to the back, and you hear a lot of like clanking and like sloshing sounds uh, as she drags behind her like 3 pouches of about 4 to 6 potions in each bag, and like handing them to you each, and just, oh, I have needed people to test these potions for weeks now, but you would be surprised. For some reason, it is not as easy to convince people to try them as it used to be. I promise none of them will kill you. I always test them on plants before I give them to people. Um, I just don't know exactly what they do to people.
I see.
What have they done to plants?
Well, I have some plants that, due to me testing so many potions on them anyways, they only die if the potion is deadly. Otherwise, they just kind of glow a little bit in the color of the potion and then return to normal. So I have no clue what they do outside of my human testers.
I see. Well, I'm sure we can try to see what they might do to us.
Yes, yes. Oh, and one moment. And she runs back again and comes out with 3 small journals with little pencils. And just, if you could, when you try them, write down the color and the consistency of the potion that you tried, and then the effect that it had on you. Or you can write it for each other. Just make sure that it's nice and labeled so I don't get confused, because there might be duplicates, but for the most part, they should be individuals. Uh, but yes, I am so excited to hear the findings of what my potions do. I've had some stunning winners lately, so I have a feeling that these will be good.
All right then. Let's
And Robbie's gonna take out her notebook and she's going to kind of look in the satchel and just see what each of the potions look like, and she's gonna make a note about what they look like first.
Yeah, sure. When you open up the satchel, you are just met with so many colors. You have about 5 potions in your pouch. There is one that is almost like a neon orange, very, very bright, um, very thin in consistency. So, like, it's almost like a water. Um, like I said, it has that brightness, almost if you were to hold it up to like a black light, like it would glow.
Mm-hmm.
If it does not look like it's already glowing.
Do we all have the same? I'm sorry. Before you continue this, do we all have the same potions?
You all have the same potions except for one. Each of you have an individual potion that is specific to you.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So this first one, I'm really sorry. Can you throw that description out again? I was trying to create a journal for it.
Yeah, of course.
I was doing the same thing. We should make like a group for it.
Oh, yeah.
Do a group journal.
Here, I can create a quick group journal for y'all. Oh gosh, somewhere.
Yeah, I took a
wait.
few notes, but
You already have one there. Nice. Potion journal.
Oh yeah, I just did that. Potions.
You just need to give us all ownership so that we can all see it.
Gotcha.
I have no idea how to contribute to these journals anyhow, so.
We'll show you in just a moment. It's pretty easy.
Yeah, because I have notes from like the last tier solo session, for instance, and that are still just in a notepad file, and it's like, I have no idea how to copy those either, so it's like, same deal here.
You should all have access to the journal.
Cool. I see the potion journal. So Min, over on the top right, you can see like a little open book.
Yeah, I see the
And you open up
journal,
potion journal.
I'm
Ta-da.
not seeing any potion journal.
So you see the journal thing, create journal entry, player handouts.
I only see player handouts.
Oh, I gave it.
So it should be beneath
I
that.
gave it to
Well, be why.
There it is.
Yeah.
And so now in there, all we have to do is like add pages. And once a page is added, if you go to the right corner where it says potions list, the right corner of that line, you can see the little arrow, the little pencil, pad of paper, edit button comes up. You just have to make sure that you don't overwrite somebody else's things, because 2 people in it at the same time can sometimes be a pain.
Yeah, we found that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe somebody write for the orange potion, and then somebody write for the next one. Whatever works best for you. Or I can just put them in myself and But I will go ahead. And I will go ahead and. Sorry, losing this man. I'm gonna go ahead and go over again, considering the orange potion specifically. So the orange potion is like a neon orange water-like liquid in this little round potion bottle. I would say it's. I don't have like a good frame of reference. It's about a cup's worth of liquid. You know, like the buzz balls. It's like that. Like an amount. So just a nice round, bright orange water light. Alright. The next one is sorry, I just saw Ions is like swiping. The next one is a dark gray, almost sort of pearlescent liquid. It is a little bit thicker, more like syrup, as the swirls of that like shiny, almost glittery appearance just moves really slowly with the milk, and that is in a almost diamond. After that, you have this one is just a pure black liquid. Liquid is a way to describe it. Short. It's more like it is a thick, almost honey-like consistency.
It's like cough syrup.
Thicker than cough syrup.
Oh my.
Yeah. And also for reference, all of these are a bonus action to take.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like bonus action potion taking. I feel like that's more fun.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It really like blew my mind. I never realized it was that
Well, I mean, that's why we've got like the server rule where if you do a bonus action, you roll for stuff, but if you take a full action to drink a potion, you just get full benefits.
That's how my Saturday DM runs it too.
Okay, so what's the next one?
All right. The next one is going to be in this almost like a little like square, almost like a perfume bottle. It is a gradient of colors. It goes from a blue to a purple to a pink to an orange. And no matter how much you shake it, it doesn't mix up.
All right. And then we each have like some sort of individual one that's different.
Yep. So I will start with Ravi's. Your specific potion is this grass green, almost slightly jelly-like consistency.
All right.
Right, and then Miranda, yours is a very much like a liquid gold coloration, in a almost like beaker style bottle.
Cool.
And Diana's?
And Ayana, you have a pearlescent white potion. It is in a little heart-shaped bottle.
All right.
Oh my gosh, look at these bottles, you guys. These are so cute.
These really
These
are
are rather
gorgeous.
curious. I
It's
will
the kind
admit a
of thing
couple of
that
these.
it's the kind of thing that a lot of people might keep as a keepsake.
I know, they do look quite fun, don't they? Like I said, I promise none of you will die from these. Otherwise my plants would have told on them. I just don't know quite what they do. So as soon as you guys get me what it is that they do, and you don't have to try all of them, but I would love to know that you have tried all of them. There should be at least one that is specific to each of you. I did not handpick them for you specifically, so if you want to trade them, you can. Those are just the ones that I put in the bags. Uh, I figured it was one of those. I'll give you each duplicates. That way, we can make sure that they all work the same. Just consistency's sake. So I know how to write down the recipe to ensure that I can sell them batch made. But otherwise, I am
Oh yeah,
so
totally.
appreciative of you to all try them. If you have any other questions, like I said, my name is Clinia Perona. I am almost always here. I even stay here. My room is in the back. So anytime that you need anything, just stop by. The chimes on the door will always let me know when you're here.
Of course.
Ayana will take like a quick look at those chimes. Are they just like physical chimes?
Oh no.
Make an Arcana check.
But are they shiny though?
They're pretty dull. They're a little bit rusted.
I
18.
They are definitely magical. It is not just a physical chime, but you could assume almost a mental chime also.
Miranda leans forward,
Noted.
Ayana, and whispers, "Please don't steal from our employer."
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just checking out the security, making sure it's still all secure. Everything looks fine. Don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
But as we go outside, I'll just kind of say, well, do we want to drink one of these before we head off to see the goats or what?
I mean,
Perhaps.
well, like, what if... I think that we should probably... Hear me out, right? I think that we should probably go talk to the person about the goats first, because if one of these does something weird and, like, messes with our mental state or anything, they might get a bad opinion of us that way. I mean, when we're out looking for the goats, who cares? But, you know, when we're talking to people, we probably want to put on, like, that good face.
You make a wonderful point.
I do love that you think about that. All right,
Let's go
so
see the
in that
goats
case-
then.
All right, so you are making your way on down here.
Oh God, I can't stop yawning.
Don't worry, we are coming to the end of the session here soon.
No, you're good. You're good. Just a real long day. Week, month, year.
All of the above.
You're right.
So you all walk down this path in between some houses, down to this really beautiful, almost purple farmhouse. You can see that there's a few lights on within the house, but relatively it's quite quiet. You do hear a few of the little like meh, like from like the goats and the sheep out back. Um, but the house itself seems relatively still.
Cool.
Do you all knock?
Yeah, sure, why not? Let's knock.
All right. As you knock, you hear just a one moment, please, and a little bit of clattering. As a lady comes up to the door, and she is a gnomish woman. Um, has a little bit of scruff going on. Hair is very wild. She seems a little bit frazzled. As Abigail opens up the door. Yes, hello? What can I do for you?
Ah, we're here about that job that you posted regarding your goats.
Ah, yes, my goats, my goats. Come around the house to the back. I'll meet you out there. And she just slams the door in the face, and like you hear more clattering as she's running through the house.
Well, she sure sounds like she keeps her place nice and tidy.
As she says as she goes around back.
As you go around back, she comes out. Her door is wide open as she's carrying out, um, like chairs, and I don't know if you guys had any weapons of your own, but I have some just in case. Um, I have been trying to keep an eye out on it, but I feel like every night I end up falling asleep and I just can't keep myself awake to keep watching. And then when I wake up, one or two are gone.
Oh my gosh, you brought weapons? That's so sweet of you. What do you got?
Nothing super fancy. It's just a standard crossbow and
Uh-huh.
as well.
Oh, very cool.
And then for anybody who prefers the hand, I do have a short sword. Like I said, it's nothing fancy. It's
No. This is all super cool. Is everybody good, or does anybody need anything?
Well, I'm not very much of a weapons person myself. I do have a dagger, but that is all I really need.
I typically prefer to take a weapon if I need one, but I suppose in this instance, the crossbow would probably be a wise decision. We may not be close enough to deal with this if it is a threat.
Oh, yes, of course. I can leave everything here on the back porch for you. Once again, so sorry I seem a little bit frazzled. My husband hasn't been home in a few days, so just trying to keep everything together. And I don't quite know how to explain to him that our livestock is just disappearing. So, and she's like laughing awkwardly. Her eyes are like really wide, and just the eye bags are insane.
Prediction. This is out of character. Prediction.
Uh-huh.
The husband is a werewolf and he's eating goats.
We will find out.
Presumably,
Indeed you will.
yes.
Presumably. But yes, she
Okay.
is.
Well, do you happen to have, like, any idea of which way? I know you say that, like, your goats are disappearing. I totally get that. But, like, any sort of indication of, like, where they're going, which way they're going, if anybody is working with them, is anybody taking them, are they going off on their own? You know, little things like that.
Have there been any damages to the fences of any sort?
So from what I've been able to tell is that the fences are pretty much all together still. I did put up some torches at each corner of the fence, so there was at least a little bit of light. Um, but from what I've been able to notice, nothing comes in from my front gate. It seems like they are disappearing into the woods because, goats are pretty loud. I can definitely hear them throughout the night whenever they're making their noises. Like I said, it's just I just can't help but fall asleep. So I keep missing whatever it is that it takes it. I'm assuming it must be quite quiet because I am very light sleeper.
Either that or you're being magically put to sleep.
No, I don't think so. I mean, Peckwich is a small town. We don't do much with that. I don't see any reason for someone to use magic against them. If they want to.
Oh, yeah,
do
totally.
things.
Right, yeah, totally. I mean, it's probably not some sort of, like, magic sleepy thing, but, you know, if it is, don't worry about it. We'll be cool. We'll be fine, right? We're not gonna, like, yeah, okay, we'll be fine.
I mean, I've fallen asleep out here and I've been fine. It's just my goats and my sheep. So maybe you'll figure it out. Anyways, good night. If you have any questions, just knock on the door.
Of course.
Sounds like a plan.
So how are we going to do this? Well, we'll probably want to... At least one of us will have to be awake the rest of the night. Shall we take watches or what?
Well, I mean, like, I don't understand why we can't, like, because, like, this is kind of the southeastern part of town, right? And then the other, like, she's still really fixated on that 100 gold bounty. And the flower is supposed to be out in the southeastern part of the forest.
Well, perhaps if the roots are in the forest, if we follow them, there is a chance we might find that flower.
Hopefully before the goats eat it, because if the goats eat it, that would be really bad.
I will say, because I am looking to close this up in a few minutes, but are you all deciding on taking a watch, or...
We could set up like a watch order, for instance. Because I know it's night, some of us will probably want to like rest during it.
Miranda would prefer to take first watch. No dark vision here. Would prefer to not be awake during the darker parts of the night.
All right.
And I will say there are the 4 torches on the corners of the pen, but it doesn't offer super bright light. It's pretty dim.
Of course.
Ayana will be cool with the second watch.
Alrighty, and that would leave Ravi with
Yep.
the 3rd.
And the 4th, because she is an elf. She only needs 4 hours to rest.
That is true.
So, I'm just gonna put the watch order on here real quick. 1, Miranda. 2 is Ayana. 3 is Ravi. 4 is also Ravi.
Yes. And as it stands right now, I feel like this is a good place to cut off, but I also wanted to ask, Ayana, are you going to read that Thieves' Cant note?
Absolutely.
Alrighty. Would you like me to go ahead and read it to you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me find it. There we go. So, Ayana, you are sitting there, whether it be as you are getting ready to rest for a bit as Miranda takes the first watch. You unfold this note that you took off of the bounty board, and you see, "Hello, they call me Varys. I am requesting aid as I believe there is something wrong with the labs. They claim to be studying the lake, but neither myself nor my compatriots here have seen them out there. They seem to be holing themselves in the lab and sending adventurers to fetch quests. Meet me at the shipyard at dawn to discuss a plan, and I will see you there, brave souls. There is something else afoot here."
So she's going to read it, and after she reads it, she's going to kind of like smile charmingly at Ravi and say, "You know what? I just realized I get kind of cranky when I am woken up out of like a good sleep. Is it okay if I take the last watch instead?" Yeah, that'd be fantastic. Thanks so much.
That would be weird because I'm effectively splitting up my trance, but okay.
Alright,
I
and
mean-
then we are... Oh, go ahead.
But I guess there's nothing that says that my trance has to be like entirely in one go. I guess it would be like, okay, I can trance for 2 hours and then stay awake for 2, then stay awake for 4, and then transfer for 2. I guess that's just it.
I mean, like, that's the way that everybody else's watches have to work, too. It's like, everybody's like, you can sleep for 2 hours, wake up for 2 hours, go back to sleep, and all that, too. So, same thing.
Alright, and I feel like that is a fantastic place to leave off for the evening.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Of course, thank you for being my players. I hope I definitely
Yay.
have some intrigue.
It'll definitely make next week much more interesting as we jump into it and figure out what's going on. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We're going to try... Are we going to try to do a downtime this week? Or... Because I don't know, Ava. How are you feeling? It's like... Yeah, I'm not sure what day or time, but we might try to do another downtime this week. We might not. If not, either way, we'll see you again next Monday. We go live at 5 Pacific time. See you then.